begins to fade now, and I feel like I'm losing time, but I don't know how I'm here. The sunlight has turned to gray, and I feel like I'm losing love again. I don't know how I'm here. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Vertex Stock Car Cup and the final round of Season 2, the Doble Motorcycles 200 from Homestead Miami. My name is Chaz Draycott, along for the ride with you once again this evening, and joining me in the commentary box, as always, and I'm sure we'll do an excellent job together in covering the final round for you, Chris Dawes joined me. How are we doing, Chris?
I'm a little bit excited about this. I mean, I cannot believe you couldn't have scripted this any better, could you, mate? That we come down to the final round. They're playing shenanigans against each other in the driver's briefing. Seriously, mate, this is epic stuff, isn't it? This is what we want as commentators, because we live off of these little snippets that help us make it even more exciting.
Definitely, we certainly do. And thanks again as well, by the way, to Doble Motorcycles for sponsoring the final round of the championship. They've been a very good supporter of the series this season, and of course sponsoring previous rounds as well. The guys are just in qualifying at the moment then, so they're going to be absolutely putting their best to it, and I'm sure that we're going to see a hell of a good performance from most of these guys tonight. Anyway, a lot on the line with it being the final round of the championship. So we're going to have a quick look and see what they've got going on then, as we have qualifying at the moment. We just had, as Chris mentioned there, we had the driver's briefing not long ago, and, well, some of these boys have been having a really good laugh with each other, and apparently we may see some of the top 5 in the championship, I believe they were saying, Chris, coming through from the back of the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's an intriguing one. Bless one of them, we'll leave nameless, wasn't totally comfortable with the idea because it was making him nervous about that, because this is a tricky circuit, and we'll explain why as we go through this 200-mile race. But and you kind of felt for him, because you kind of could put yourself in his position. And then you've got things like, they were talking about the top 5. Well, Jason Glenn in 5th and Guillaume Hesno in 6th. After the drop scores at the moment, they're only separated by 1. So it's like, well, at which point do you stop it? So I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Definitely is. We ride on board with Alex Sedgwick at the moment. Championship leader overall, as you'll see here. However, as you won't see here apparently, thank you to the software. Just bear with me 1 second. We'll get that sent through. So you should be able to see some championship standings in just a moment anyway.
And I thought I was getting the better pictures this time as well, and noise.
There you go. Alex Sedgwick then does lead overall as the pro as such, but Aaron Smith is the real leader, essentially. Not taking anything away from Alex's performance, of course.
However, but let me just make the thing that's amazing, make sure that the subplot is known, is that Aaron Smith is not interested in just taking the true championship, as in everybody goes, Alex as a pro doesn't strictly count.
Yeah.
He wants to win on this overall table as well, doesn't he?
Oh, he does, yeah. He wants everything. He wants to be completely...
And he's only 4 points down, for goodness sake, so we can do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we are in for a treat with this one, let me tell you, everybody. And, I mean, you can see just how close it is between everyone. Even Brian Crowell's downwards there. There's only 17 points between him and Guillaume Hesno in 6th place, so we are in for a proper close one here. As qualifying goes on now, Sedgwick has managed to put it on pole. He's carrying the Doble Motorcycles logo on his bonnet as well today, as you can just about see there. Adrian Burks is Adrian Burks is someone that's always been quick on the ovals in these series as well. Oh, there's a beautiful top-down shot of the oval, actually. That's a gorgeous shot.
How good is that? And it is the key point is that, as we're being briefed, this is one of the few that are actually ovals. They're all called ovals, but this truly is an oval. It's not tri-oval, as they get called. And as you saw from that fabulous overhead shot, it truly is. But that throws in its own challenges, like getting in and out of the pits is incredibly difficult, apparently. And the banking transition from those the two ends onto the straights, you're talking sort of like 20 degrees down to 4 or 5 degrees. And apparently the biggest incidents are going to be off the corners where it suddenly stops banking. And that is why they've got an issue coming in and out of the pits as well. I mean, it just throws some awesome stuff out of it, doesn't it?
It really does. We're in for a treat, like we've said. It's going to be absolutely sublime tonight. We have 132 laps total for the evening. And here is your grid then. Alex Sedgwick takes pole position on this one. And for the final round of the championship, he is going to be very pleased. Adrian Burks alongside him, with Alistair Topley in third, Mikey Doble in fourth. So a very interesting couple of drivers near the top there. George Tolsma, he's shown that he's good in qualifying on these ovals. Hopefully he can keep it up there in the race. Connor Mills, reigning champion, or outgoing champion I suppose, is sixth, but we don't know that yet. Brian Crowles and Jonathan Hill make a very interesting row 4. James Harvey back again in the student motorsport car in 9th place, just ahead of Jack Mace in 10th position. We then have Guillaume Hesno and Jeff Hooper making up row 6, and then behind them Justin Nyer, and would you look at that, Chris, Aaron Smith, 14th and last on the grid. He definitely wants to make a scene of this, doesn't he?
Yes, he kind of threatened he was going to do something like that. Now, interestingly, of course, is that it does have Cedric at the front, and I'd imagine they're there sort of all talking, going, right, are we doing this or not? Because literally, it was being discussed about messing it around in that driver's briefing. So I'm not sure whether they completely know what they're supposed to do now, and what are they able to do technically. It's all right in the real world that you could suddenly go, fine, we're actually doing it, I'm starting at the back, but you've got iRacing to try and control that for us.
Yeah, very true. Well, some of these guys as well, they were sort of saying, "Oh, I'll throw some money in if you do this for me," and it was getting really serious. And there's a good amount of banter, and that's the thing that we've seen all season from these guys. I mean, obviously everyone watching at home won't have sort of been involved in the driver briefings, but the atmosphere just before a race, even though it's like 10 minutes before a session starts, it's just great fun, isn't it? All these guys really do love this series.
Absolutely, without question. Can you remind me, where did Aaron Smith actually put it on qualifying? 14th it was last, wasn't it? Sorry, yeah. I've just looked on the screen. I did see that. Because that could become important, and there lies one of the reasons why he's made sure he does that in the Bumblebee yellow and black, or the Wasp, as we've been calling it, actually, to be fair. Number 70 is that you get extra points for making up positions, and 3 points for being the biggest mover. And so, some people have been sort of kind of almost found out for doing that during the course of this. And so he's gone, well, fine, so am I this time, because I need those extra points.
And that's it. He wants to show us all what he's got.
Sorry, Chaz, it just means that I've suddenly realised is that Aaron Smith would have been hoping that they weren't going to suddenly do that start from the back. He wants Cedric to start from the front, so that he doesn't get points for being the biggest gainer. Yeah,
very true, actually. Very true.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, it's quite mad how the scenario sort of unfolds itself, but we'll have to see how it goes on. I believe we've got Adam Owen doing the points tonight. But anyway, these guys then are about to get it underway for the final round of the championship in the Vertex Stock Car Cup. Alex puts his foot down, away from the line. Alistair Topley gets a great start on the inside. Look at Connor Mills there. Connor's just got a bit of a tap from Brian Crowles. He comes down on him there. Connor's a little bit out of shape as well in turns 1 and 2, and that's going to slow Crowles down. James Harvey's going to go up as well, but he's been slowed down from that. Wow, very scary moment there to get the race underway, Chris.
Goodness gracious me, and I was still sort of getting my final notes written down as you went, as I get accused of doing supersonic, and it was, as I looked back up to the big screen, it was absolutely mental. Interesting to see that Alex Sedgwick is going high straight away there. We're told that apparently the best lane to sit in speed-wise is lane 2, that you now see Connor Mills and Brian Crowles were sat in the middle of the circuit as it stands. Now they've dropped down to the bottom, but apparently up the top where Cedric is at the minute, and James Harvey in the number 40 car there, Student Motorsport with the sort of camo livery on it. That's the one that might not necessarily be the ultimate quickest, but it will save their tyres. And we're going to see massive drop-off in times. I couldn't believe it when Alex was explaining to us. The tyres will be at their best for only 10 laps. They will need to try to make them last for 30 to 35. But after 10 laps, we're going to be seeing a drop-off of about 2 to 2.5 seconds. I mean, that's massive.
It is humongous. Around a lap especially, that's 34 seconds for these guys. It's pretty crazy. Oh, we've got Jack Mace on the infield and Guillaume Hesno as well. We've got a yellow already. I wasn't expecting that tonight. These guys have been saying that, you know, they want to take it easy and have a nice, enjoyable final round, but Jack Mace and Guillaume Hesno...
fell for that.
Yeah, to be fair, I did, yeah, I must admit. Now, I mean, not to point fingers, but we know that Guillaume has sort of had his sort of go high and come back down, although he's actually on the inside this time, so let's see what happens here. Jack Mace running that high line. Guillaume slides up the circuit. Oh, I think he just expected there not to be an overlap.
Although that looked more than just going up wide. That, I think, and it was the coming off. Do you remember we were explained is the coming off of the corner is apparently incredibly challenging for even the most experienced of the racers and the sim racers of coming off that bank and onto that straight, and it just ran completely wide, and I think it would have been in a blind spot for him. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is a shame. I mean, to be honest, Guillaume really got away with that one there. Jack Mace showing probably a bit of displeasure there by pulling in front of him quite suddenly, but Aaron Smith then is now up to 12th place. Sedgwick, the only car that is actually where he started. Now, Alistair Topley made a great start there. George Tolsma has gained 2 positions. We've already got Aaron Smith coming in the pit lane here. It's quite an interesting one. Maybe he's just thinking, even though it's 5 laps worth of rubber, may as well. Guillaume has now got an end of line, apparently.
Yeah, I just saw that. Oh, that's good. We're both keeping an eye on the on that information as well, aren't we? And do, if you're watching, make sure you keep the comments coming in. Hopefully we'll be able to see them. Chris Mason, evening Dawsey. Yeah, I'm back here again, Mason. And we had Bobby Thompson. I don't know whether he's still watching, but British touring car race for Team Hard. Bobby Thompson was watching the feed as well, so hopefully he's still glued to it. He's a top lad, and I look forward to seeing getting that underway. But you know, and I'm not surprised because the entertainment of this is incredible. 132 laps. It will go in a blink of an eye again, though, won't it, Chaz?
Oh, God, yeah.
You know, we've been disappointed. We've suddenly gone, oh, we're about to end this race. I've been enjoying this. I don't want it to end yet.
Yeah, you're damn right. To be honest, it's been one of those seasons where once the race gets in its flow and really cracks on. I mean, we've had a hell of a laugh doing it as well, and these guys are really getting their elbows out on track and giving us some fantastic racing, no matter what we're on, whether it's an oval, a tri-oval as such, or Watkins Glen last week. It was just amazing. But it's quite an interesting top 5 we've got at the minute. Obviously, Alex Sedgwick, we know he's very good on these ovals. He's won most of the oval rounds of this championship since it started. Alistair Topley's always been quick, but he's back up there now in 2nd place. George Tolsma, he's done a great job being in 3rd position, and we saw that he was quick at Daytona as well. Adrian Burks, another one, good on the ovals. He was good here the first time the championship came. Of course, the very first round of this championship's history was here at Homestead a few months ago, and Adrian was great then. Mikey Doble, he's been up and down the order in certain rounds, but to be honest, 5th place at the moment is good for him as well. And Jonathan Hill, another one that's had a bit of a rough season with incidents here and there. I remember he had a particularly difficult race at Zolder as well, struggling to get used to the car. But, I mean, he's still got the Gravedigger livery back, so, I mean, I'm loving that. But it's the fact that he's doing so well with it as well, and he said that it brings him luck, and it certainly is doing.
No, I mean, it was so good because he kind of went back to his old one. It was for his little lad's birthday, wasn't it, originally, when we were at Zolder, wasn't it? And then it went back again, and we're like, oh. And I think everybody else went, oh. So we brought it straight back again, and good man. It looks awesome, doesn't it? It really does. And I mean, look at the detail on it. Fair play, the time he must have spent for that as well.
It is gorgeous. Very, very gorgeous indeed. And, well, that's one of the beauties of sim racing as well. You can see some incredible liveries put on some of these cars. We still have the lights on the pace car, so we've got another lap. I've noticed that Jeff Hooper, by the way, has actually dropped down. He came into the pit lane not long ago, so he's dropped down to 13th position now. Aaron Smith is going in again. He's been in the pits for the last 3 laps now as Aaron Smith. And what I'm hoping here, we've had issues in the past. Ben Kriener mentioned that he got a drive-through penalty. And
not cleared.
And it did not clear despite coming through 3 times.
I can't see there's anything that Aaron had as a drive-through.
Yeah.
and we've not had anything sent through to let us know anything there. So, and he doesn't need to do this for any additional points now, does he? Because at the end of the day, it's the position gained from the start. So it doesn't matter now. He doesn't need to suddenly kind of make it more challenging for himself again. It is what it is. So hopefully it's not putting this erroneous drive-through penalty in there. And if that is the case, I'm sure the guys in race control are having a close look at that to make sure it isn't. Because that's critical, isn't it? We don't want any kind of championship sorted based on some kind of glitch like that.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if anything like this causes a big implication in the championship. Either that or Aaron's just trying to give himself an even bigger challenge and go to the back again as if it's a reset. But speaking of resets, Ivan makes a good point, he could have been speeding in the pits. But Alex Sedgwick is going to be hoping to be speeding a lot more than these guys now as he gets his foot down again. Alistair Topley does a good job and goes with him. There's a bit of a shuffle in the mid-pack there. Connor Mills trying to make it 3 wide almost with Mikey Doble. They're 2x2 there. Noah's Ark round turn 1. Jack Mace. We've got James Harvey looking down the inside a little bit of Jonathan Hill there as they come off the corner. But as you alluded to before, Chris, coming off the corner here is very difficult. And that's one of the main things about any sort of oval or NASCAR racing. As Jonathan Hill gets into the wall.
Yeah.
He's got the overspeed then as he gets the run. A little bit of contact with Jack Mace. He's lost a handful of places there, bucket full of places. But it's coming off the corner that is, to be honest, the main thing, isn't it? Getting the run off the corner. It's what it's all about.
It is, because literally you've gone from sort of like hooking it up, and apparently there is a seam if you go in the in lane 2 in the middle there as well that you can really get yourself hooked up on and sort of literally lasso yourself around the banking. And then suddenly it drops down to a flat, and it is a big drop off. It doesn't really do it justice. You kind of saw it there, didn't you, where it went up on it? But it's this point when they now come off of the banking, down onto the straight again. You've kind of got to do it to really get an understanding of the difference on it. You know, these cars are hooked up probably with the turning, the steering already pointing to the left. You know, that's the point. They've suddenly got to turn right, in effect, to go straight in most circumstances, and it suddenly goes boom, down straight. And you know, you're talking like a circuit that hasn't been resurfaced. What were we told? Something like 2003 was the last time this got resurfaced. Now remember, you could turn around and go, it's just a sim, guys. No, it's not just a sim, guys. iRacing will absolutely spec it up as per the circuits. So this is seriously aged and weathered tarmac or whatever surface it's supposed to be, making it massively challenging for them.
And it's great that they can reflect that as well for the drivers. So each sort of circuit's characteristics has its own challenge. And I just want to highlight as well, Jack Mace's restart. What a restart he had. He just suddenly appeared in 7th place. He was down in like 11th or 12th after the restart. Obviously after coming in earlier because of the damage. And he just hung it around the outside line, as he's doing now. And he gets an amazing run off the corner. Look, he's got it on Connor Mills now. And he went round about 2 or 3 of them at one go, coming out of turn 1, because they're all battling away. And he's really making this high line work, is Jack Mace. It's amazing. Look at it. The pace he's carrying. He's just outdone Connor Mills like he's not there. And now we'll go on board just to see the closing difference on Mikey Doble. He's going to get in the slipstream, keep the speed up and let the car go out wide. Unless he's going to change that now, he's on the similar line. No, he does hang it around the outside. Initially on corner turn and you lose it, but look, that middle line, he's on and off the throttle a little bit there, sun in his eyes as he exits. And to be fair, I mean, we saw it in shot there at the front. Alex Sedgwick has now got Alistair Topley giving him all of the attention in the world. He's suddenly caught him up very quickly there. Yeah,
I mean, I wonder whether that was just a slight little mishap by Alex Sedgwick. I mean, we're lap 13 now. We were told 10 laps ahead last. We've had a safety car in there, of course. Or a caution, should I say, and so therefore it's probably lasting. Now suddenly I think that their tyres are going to change. The dynamic of what they're expecting these cars to do is going to completely change. And look at that, James Harvey was going for a sneaky snifter up the inside of Guillaume Hesno in the orange, black and red car, but it just compromised James Harvey in the number 40 car quite dramatically. It goes to show there's so much going on this circuit that you just don't really know where to aim it. It doesn't necessarily work, but fair play. He's sticking with it, but he's now tucked behind Brian Krause. Brian Krause isn't going to be happy. Remember, he actually sits 3rd in this championship, 2nd if you remove the pro at the head of the field. And at the moment, he's not going where he wants to go. He's down in 9th position. He started in 7th, so he's lost out a couple of positions at the moment.
Yeah, he really needs to pick it up and get back further up there. James Harvey's also losing another position, I should say, to Jonathan Hill here. So the risk down the inside of that line that he took was just not quite worth it. Aaron Smith hasn't really made up much ground from the back of the field either, to be honest, but Mike from Simply Racers said he took on more fuel than others, he thinks, so maybe weighing the car down a bit with people expecting pit stops. Mikey Doble and Jack Mace again, look at it, making that outside line work gradually. Round the outside he goes. It doesn't look like he's got it done here, but when he's got the overspeed down the straight, look at it, it's like a slingshot alongside Mikey Doble. Before you know it, he's slightly in front into turns, what would be 1 and 2.
Well, interestingly, they're basically going lines 1 and 3, aren't they? Lanes 1 and 3. So nobody's in the fastest one at the minute. Alex didn't really tell us a lot about lane 1 down the bottom there, did he? He sort of said about the fact that lane 2 is the quickest, especially as there's a seam you can get hooked up on. Lane 3 sort of preserves your tyres a little bit more, which Jack Mace is up there. Oh, and he massively drifted wide there, didn't he? But he held it together quite nicely, and it looks a bit status quo between 1 and 3, and it makes me wonder whether Connor Mills is sat there sort of thinking, all right, boys, you keep creating that gap for me. Any minute now, if I can keep getting this slipstream in, but he just loses it a little bit there, look, drops away, and he's probably very conscious of Guillaume Hesno there with him. And but he's got, I wouldn't be surprised to see him suddenly dive into that gap onto lane 2 and drive his way through between these two guys.
Yeah, you've got to be thinking that he might be conserving his tyres a little bit better than the other guys here that are taking the tighter line. He ducks in, stays in the train behind Mikey Doble. But this is the thing with this sort of this form of racing is just amazing for these mind games. I mean, you are a humongous fan of this, I know, Chris, and there is such a massive amount of technicalities in this sort of sport. And everyone thinks, oh, they just drive around in ovals a lot. It's not that simple at all. It's so underappreciated when people say stuff like that, because there's so many different things that you can have factor your race, and I can't even begin to describe the whole pit stop scenario of trying to risk it just before a yellow comes out so you're on fresh tyres, and it goes on and on and on, and you can compare it to, there's Tolsma and Mikey Doble make contact. Tolsma's back up, hit by Hesno. He hits James Harvey and Jonathan Hill as well as he bounces back down, and that's another yellow. Justin Naya tries to get out of the way there. Wow, what a dodge that was. But I think he's just put it in the wall as well. We'll have to see what happened to George Tolsma then.
That was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was contact with Doble, and Doble at this point was actually quite far back from him.
So Tolsma must lose it on his own and collect Doble, surely, because that's a huge, huge gap there. And I was thinking about how well Tolsma was doing, sat there in, what was that, 3rd position, isn't he, at the minute? And he's not attacking Adrian Burks, although he is looking towards the inside of the 72 car of Burks at the minute, but not close enough to make a move. Are we going to see him suddenly switch ends any moment now? He has a little tail wag as he came onto the straight. As we said, it is challenging.
Oh, he's just had a really slow...
together.
Yeah, he just had a really slow exit through there. Oh, I think... It's hard to see whether Mikey came up or whether George came down.
No, I've got to be honest and say no, he didn't, because looking at that, I was watching the white line again as well, and Mikey Doble did not change his direction. Could he, should he? Difficult to say, but no, look, the door was being closed and it was too late to close that door. Where's Doble supposed to go? He can't disappear.
Yeah, and also Mason Connor Mills actually went into the barrier as well there. We'll have to see whether we've got the lovely old chopper cam.
Leave your chopper out of it.
There you go. I think, it seems
like...
You
watch the white line, is that Doble stayed at exactly the same spot.
It looked like they just sort of, as they got closer and closer, they ended up just gravitating towards each other as the cars tend to in sim racing, unfortunately.
And I was about to say, the other one on top of that, by the way, they've all piled into the pits, unsurprisingly. The other one on top, Jack Mace is going out in the lead. How's that happened? What a fantastic job. But I was about to say, the other challenge you can get in the sim racing is that once you do make that contact, it can be phenomenally difficult to get yourself unattached again.
Yeah, definitely.
I had it where for my sins, I've started actually sort of racing in a couple of these, And on Monday, I was bang out of order, took someone out off the start, and it was more because I didn't realise they were on my left as we went off the standing start. Oh dear, Alistair Topley.
Yeah, he's just lost it coming out of the pits there. He was second as well before he went in. Oh, and he's overlooped it as well. The guys, fortunately, wait for him, which is nice, because obviously he's out of the pit lane before them, so I think he'll be able to regain that position.
We were told it's difficult coming in and out of the pits, weren't we? What I was about to say is that, I kind of didn't realise he was there. Jack Mace is back in again, so it was superficial, whatever happens there. Maybe he speeded a little bit out of it, sadly. I didn't realise someone was on my left, went across, and then as soon as I just made a little bit of contact, I'm trying to pull towards the right, and it's just got us absolutely hooked together, rammed that person who was going to be a front runner, which I certainly wouldn't have been, into the wall. Both of us ended up flipping over, and by that point the whole field's disappeared off. And it can, once you get hooked in these, it can be difficult to unhook yourself, unfortunately.
Yeah, the thing is with sim racing as well, obviously you see like touring cars and even NASCAR machinery as well, when they're door banging a little bit, they are heavy cars and they can withstand a little bit of door to door here and there, but in sim racing, obviously, because they have to exaggerate a lot of the forces to make sure that it simulates what you get in the real world, unfortunately they are a bit more sort of fragile when it comes to the physics of contact, so a lot of the time...
It's still amazing what they do. The bad news is it's showing that Jack Mace is still in the pits.
Yeah, whether he's getting the damage repaired, but it's not a fast repair, so I think
he's been in there a long time for that one. Incidentally, by the way, thanks Adam Owen from Vertex has said that Adam Smith, we were talking about why he's going in and out, although we didn't see him stop. Maybe we just missed that. He's gathering as much fuel as possible. That's the interesting one. Fuel, they reckon, will last 50 to 60 laps.
Yeah.
But
Tires.
you suddenly start splitting the strategies, and it could get interesting. So that could be a potential. Well, you've got to try something different, haven't you? That's the key point.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you've got to just try and have one over on your competitors here, and I mean he's up to 4th place from it now as well. So must have been a demon stop from him, but he's right in it. He's ahead of Brian Crowles as well, literally right in front of Brian as well, just to rub it in that extra little bit. But Jack Mace, I think he used his fast repair on that earlier pit stop after the first incident. So after that second one there where he went in the wall again, I think he's had to then take a longer repair, which is why he's been in. But he's back with the pack, and if he's got a restart up his sleeve like he had for the last one, then I'm sure he's going to do absolutely fine. But Alex Sedgwick then, Alistair Topley, by the way, has regained that position, second on the right-hand side there, which is good. So his... a little bit of embarrassment there, spinning out of the pit lane, has been saved by the fact that he does still get that place, because at the end of the day he did cross the line on the exit of the pits first, so he does get to keep it. But we're here now for the 3rd restart, and away they go. Alex, to be fair, that was quite a sharp response there from Alistair Topley. He's done a good job there. Adrian Burks is going to try and slot in behind as well. Aaron Smith, blinking a little bit there on the outside. That's interesting. We'll keep our eye on that over the course of the race. Lap 24 out of 132. Time for a gin yet, says Jason Glenn. Yes, mate, definitely. I mean, the stress in the cockpit of these cars must be enough. It's pretty tense up here as well. But this is Mikey Doble. He's got a battle in front of him now that he gets to watch. That's Aaron Smith, championship leader on the outside. Adrian Burks, who's been very quick on the ovals this season, just down his inside. They're going to just go single file, maybe down the straight, although look at the run Aaron's got, that's fantastic. Sedgwick and Topley, though, they're just wanting to get a little bit of a gap here to just try and break away, aren't they? Just so it makes their lives a little bit easier. Even if Alistair doesn't push for the move, it's all about those mind games, isn't it? We've seen it with Aaron and Alex before, where they just break away from the pack and they don't need to worry about it too much.
Yeah, absolutely. Just seeing a message come in, 25 and 22 were given a warning, should have given each other a bit more room. That's Mikey Doble and George Tolsma. So actually that's both of them. For the incident that caused this is that both of them were called to the headmaster's office and made to keep it cool, boys, keep it cool. The lead two looked like they were close together. Sedgwick and Topley, it might have been an optical illusion. No, it isn't, because Topley is now having a look. He is up the inside, surely on the exit there, but he's going to tuck back in again. I mean, what a fantastic race Topley's having. I think we found his favourite circuit, haven't we?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's why I sounded quite surprised previously when Topley wasn't really a front runner, as he goes back down the inside. the first race that we ever had in the Vertex Stock Car Cup around here. He was an absolute delight to watch. He was so exciting. Some of the moves he was putting on were beautiful, you know, staying on the top line and just diving down the inside into the corner and making it work on the brakes. He was brilliant, and he's doing it again here to Alex. He's forcing Alex to keep on that high line. I'm sure he won't mind for his tyre degradation purposes, but Alistair's really keeping him honest here. And just behind, we've got Aaron Smith and Mikey Doble still side by side. Aaron putting on an absolute fireworks show along the wall there. Sparks everywhere, and to be honest, I think the Wasp is going to be shedding its skin if he carries on doing that for too long.
Interestingly, Guillaume Hesno went into the pits, and that is an important thing because he sat 6th in the championship with the car just ahead of him, Jason
Oh,
Glenn,
again! Tolsma gets in, moves down slightly on Brian Krause, somehow does not put that car in a wall. He's wobbling around all over the place trying to get it back together, but wow, oh wow, that was a scary, scary moment there, especially for the guys behind. It was the lap after this, I do apologise. It wasn't actually, no, it was that one. It was Brian Crowell's that he moved down on, and then Connor Mills went down the inside. That was scary, scary stuff. Let's go on board with Connor Mills and just have a look. It's tiny movements, isn't it? It's not really too much of a block or anything. It's just George just didn't seem to know that Brian was that close to him by the look of it, mate.
Wow, and then he went back up and nearly collected, I think that was Jeff Hooper, wasn't it, that he nearly got involved with. And wow, you're right, it's only margins. Well held, though, and it suddenly avoids us from going into. And Alex Sedgwick has gone very high there, and he's lost the lead. And no, that's going to be Hesno trying to unlap himself at the moment. And I wonder whether that actually came into play there, whether Hesno upset the apple cart and suddenly that Alistair Popley manages to take the lead. He's been threatening it. There's Guillaume Hesno, a lap down after coming into the pits for reasons unbeknownst to us. But no, in fairness, at the moment I stand completely corrected and apologise, is that he's done a good job because he's latched onto the back of Alistair Popley and followed him through, hasn't he?
Yeah, to be fair, he did a good job of staying out of the way, but Alex, I think, just went a little bit deep. And
in fact, if anything, he probably helped Sedgwick, Topley to make that move, because the two of them line astern is going to punch the hole through the air. And it is what suddenly left Sedgwick kind of like a sitting duck on the outside there on his own, wasn't he?
Yeah, he didn't really have anywhere else to go, just other than to watch those guys go past him. George Tolsma's obviously dropped down the order a little bit there. He's just behind his Stage 1 racing teammate, Justin Nair. Oh, is in the background there, Jeff Hooper having a bit of a detour, doing a bit of grass tracking, a bit of lawn mowing here in Miami. But he's managed to save that pretty well. Let's have a quick look at what happened here, Chris.
Welcome to Miami, as Will Smith says.
Let's have a look at Jack Mace up high. Is Jack going to get the run? I know Jeff just lost the rear end a little bit on his own. Nice save though. That it's easy for to overdo that.
The corner. It's exactly what Alex warned us about, isn't it? Is that off the corner is incredibly challenging for them. But he did. He's kept us away from it being a caution again. And there's Aaron Smith. He's actually down to 5th position and lost out to the 4th place, 3rd and 4th, Doble and Burke. So he's lost ground there, hasn't he? Because wasn't he sat in 4th after all of the pit stops and the cautions and everything? So he's lost ground somewhere. Crowells and Connor Mills just behind him. Remember, Connor Mills there with the 1 proudly emblazoned over the side of his car because he was the Series 1 champion. He's now trying to come back at Brian Crowells, who sits 3rd in the championship just behind Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith just ahead of Brian Crowells, who currently sits ahead of him in the championship. There's a bit of pride here, you know, because this is literally 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the championship standings, and Aaron Smith's been hung out to dry.
He has indeed. That was a really, really nice bit of opportunistic driving there by Connor Mills, and James Harvey's going to sneak through as well. Aaron may be feeling the effects of having the extra fuel that we mentioned earlier. Maybe not quite. I mean, you would think it'd weigh the rear down and get it a bit more planted, potentially, but seemingly the weight over the rear end not helping him at the moment. He's not really got the pace for some reason. Whether he's only taken 2 tyres or 4, we've seen him do that before because he gained a lot of places in the pits. So it's an interesting little thought to have, but he's really dropped off there. Connor Mills, though, he's thinking, right, Brian is the only one I need to worry about then if Aaron's going to start dropping back. But James Harvey, I tell you what, James is doing a great job at the moment. Started 9th up to 7th. He's watching this with intent now, as you can see the beautiful lighting here around Homestead. We will be under lights by the time the race is finished as well, everybody, so you're in for a real treat. But look at that, Connor Mills down the inside, commits to that inside line. Brian forced him down there a little bit, but to be honest, he's done a great job there, and he's managed to get the move done before corner exit, or has he? Brian is still there, nearly making contact But now James Harvey's going to come into the picture, Chris. This is epic racing.
Well, you see what happened there is that Brian Crowell's got the corner exit wrong with how difficult we've been told it is, that enabled Connor Mills, and it nearly caught him out and there was nearly contact, but he managed to dive far enough down the apron towards the apron, shall I say, to get himself up the inside. Then suddenly it was Connor Mills that got the exit wrong, that compromised Crowell's and enabled James Harvey now in the student motorsport car to dive up the inside to get past Brian Crowell's and now be challenging Connor Mills. This would put him up into 5th place if he does this one. An absolutely incredible job. Incidentally, by the way, that moment earlier when George Tolsma, we thought that he'd sort of come down on Brian Crowell's. Brian Crowell's has been given a warning for marginal contact, but as they say, thankfully no caution was caused in that. So, and this is from the race directors that are watching it from all the different angles with a bit more time than we have to look at it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, well, that was his fault. But, that's why race control exists.
We don't know what we're talking about.
I hope we will do by Sunday.
No.
To be honest, though, actually, James Harvey has dropped a place from both of these guys here. Brian Crowell's has got past him as well as Connor Mills. So let's have a quick look at what happened to sort this out into turn 1. Is it just Brian carrying the speed around the outside? He's not really got that much of an overlap here. No, James takes quite a tight line there.
Yeah, you can just see that he's crossed himself up a little bit there. And that was the other way. It wasn't the off the bend. That was going on to the banking that compromised him there, didn't it? But literally, you imagine you're driving along and it's completely flat. And then suddenly it goes up on that angle and your car's trying to sort of take you completely differently. It's just a unique challenge for these guys, without question.
Definitely is. We've got a good battle for third, by the way. Adrian Burke's here in the 72 with Mikey Doble, race sponsor, of course, Doble Motorcycles. Don't forget, there is a promo code, by the way. You can get free UK delivery with any motorbike purchase with promo code Vertex. Ends on the 31st of August. Mikey's been generous enough to put that up for everybody watching the stream, so make sure you do check out doble.co.uk. But he's putting in his best efforts at the minute, Chris, and to be honest, Adrian Burks has been a tough nut to crack when it comes to these ovals, and he's holding on to a very impressive third position.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Adrian Burks because he just does everything under the radar, both off circuit in the chats and on circuit once we get here. And that red and white number 72 car, it's a very discreet colour scheme on it, which I really, really like. And it's exactly how he races as well. And he just suddenly find him up in that position. He's not involved in the fight with the top two as it stands at the moment. But frankly, he's holding on to a cracking podium position. And the title sponsor, Mikey Doble III, if we give him his full title, is desperately trying to get him. And this is Mikey Doble actually races the BMW Compact Cup over here in the UK. Totally different to what we've got here. And he's doing a fantastic job. He's got better and better over these last few races as well, hasn't he, Mikey?
Yeah, and I think it comes with experience in these cars as well. I mean, you get used to how they handle and what they can take, essentially, and it's been a really, really good learning curve for him, and it's been great to watch his progression, essentially.
Without question, and that's why we're suddenly seeing a fantastic fight like this. And, these two absolutely glued together. And this is the main fight because I think the top in Sedgwick has spread out slightly. Dive towards the inside there as we get in towards the bank. And he's going to wash out, don't make contact with Burks just yet. And he holds it on there. Burks will be completely aware. His spotter will be telling him that the blue and white 22 car is just on your inside. But now Doble's going to be able to follow that one through. He's trying to get himself up into that middle line, lane 2. Which we've been told is the quicker, although I've lost track of how long we've had since they actually changed tyres. Are we going to now start to see these tyres dropping off, which probably means they'll be desperately trying to push towards the outside of the circuit that will sort of preserve them a little bit longer. They're not at the moment, are they, Chaz? They're prepared to sit down low as it stands, so I think we've still got some fight in these tyres just yet.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the lap times last time round, most of them, everyone other than Mikey Doble actually did a 35 or a 36. Mikey Doble did a 34.93. I think it was a 9.8 the lap before that, though. George Tolsma here and Jeff Hooper. George just been overtaken by Jonathan Hill not too long ago, I believe. George is trying to stay, just as you said, around that sort of outside line, preserve the tyres a bit. Jeff Hooper's coming gradually up. A little bit of netcode there. They're actually quite a bit of distance apart still, a bit of breathing room between them, and it seems that the sim believe they made contact. I mean, I don't think they did, but it's one of the beauties of sim racing. You've got to be ready for it. Connor Mills and James Harvey are still having a scrap, though. James has got back past Brian Crowles. Get his name out, Chaz. Now they're side by side again into 1 and 2. Connor Mills' car, not the straightest looking thing in the world at the moment. It's got a few bent panels.
I thought
I
saw that earlier actually, but I wasn't sure because obviously
might be the chrome.
Could be, yeah. But he tends to have that. Now, of course, what we also he's hopefully been saying it is that he's not kind on his tyres, is he? And he can't work out why he's not.
Yeah, that's very true. Actually, we asked him about that at Watkins Glen last week after he just killed the tyres and wanted to pit early. As Brian Crowles thinks, oh, the left rear of that car looks nice. Let's just have a little nibble on that, shall we? Very close to it. Yeah, indeed. Checking out Connor's rear end, I think, is probably the best phrase for it. James Harvey, though, to be honest, what a great little sneak through he's had, though. He's back up into 5th position now. He's on for what I believe is probably his best result in the championship. I think he's had a couple of top 10s, we know that, but I don't think he's had a top 5 yet. So it'd be good to get James up there into the top 5. Student Motorsport and James have been very supportive of the championship and all the streams, and we're very grateful for it. JP as well, as we all know and love. But yeah, great performance from him so far. The closest 2 cars on track at the moment are actually the guys behind him, though, Connor Mills and Brian Crowles. It has spread out a tiny little bit here, but this is the time when these drivers really need to keep their focus, isn't it, Chris? Not when they're in a big fight or anything. They just, when they've got a tiny bit of clear air around them, they need to just put the quick laps in while they've got said air.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were hoping we were going to get a good chunk of green flag running, and we're getting that as it stands at the moment. Oh, big kick of sparks there, as I think Brian Crowles just made love to the wall on the exit there. But he kept it going, and he's okay. He needs to be, because it is an important car that he can see in his rearview mirror. It is Aaron Smith, who is just ahead of him in the championship standings. I mean, a reasonable chunk as it stands at the minute. What are we talking? We're talking 20, 31 points as it stands at the minute. So it'd be a big, big ask. But of course, we've got drop scores to take into account and what have you that could sort of fluctuate somewhat. I mean, there's another interesting one for Aaron, is that he's there trying to get the most positions gained. Could he actually find himself dropping a better score? Do you know what? His score that he's dropping at the minute is 31. Actually, no, that's probably not. He's probably not going to improve it. That was Iowa that went very, very wrong for him, where he came home in. What did he do? No, not Iowa. Sorry. Daytona. Daytona went wrong for him. Go on, carry on, mate.
Sedgwick just had the back end of that car so far out. It was unbelievable. Doble has managed to sneak up to him and get past, though, and he's actually put a bit of daylight between the pair of them. It may only be a quarter of a second, but it certainly looks like more than that. But Sedgwick had that thing moving around on exit. He's dancing that car. But he's just going to be holding on now, waiting for a yellow flag, because these guys really do need the new tyres, because now they're getting into the 35s, the sort of high 35s and 36s, just denied at a 37 last time round as well. So the times are really going, but here's the move from Mikey then, Chris.
Wow, so he certainly made up an awful lot of space there, as these front 2 have dropped off more than the rest of them. And what are we talking? I mean, there is that drop-off. 33.8 we had in qualifying. We're in the 35s. Doble trying to look up towards the inside.
Doble's got the lead. Sorry, mate. He's grabbed the lead off Alistair Topley. What a great run Mikey Doble's having tonight.
Wow. And Guillaume Hesno's still involved in all of this, so that suggests to me that Sedgwick's struggling right now.
It must be the sponsorship money. Something's gone on here. Mikey Doble's on a different setup. But he's absolutely flying. And I mean, we were saying he was improving and doing well, but he's caught the leaders and he's just had their pants down, honestly. He's just taken their money and he's like, all right, see you in a bit, boys. Right. But Alistair Topley, he's trying to keep him honest, but look at the run out the corner that Doble's getting as well. That car just looks so planted on exit, whereas Topley, you can see it dancing around a bit. Look at the time he's gained. He doesn't care if he scrapes the wall. He's doing an absolutely epic job. Mikey Doble. He's like, here's some sparks for your trouble, Alistair. See you later.
And the reason why I missed half of that is I was just checking what this means to the championship. Aaron Smith at Daytona went drastically wrong for him. He came home in 13th place on that one. Ouch. So the reality is that no, there's going to be no conspiracy theory that I was trying to steer up, as if I'd stir. Because he has had a worse result than he can. I mean, he could come home 14th, but he's not going to gain himself enough, is he? Sedgwick's struggling because now Burke's all over the back of him. Guillaume Hesno is a lap down. He's running in last place, and he's got every right to unlap himself. I'm sure that Sedgwick's probably getting a bit frustrated, but I'm sorry, he's got every right to try and get himself back onto the lead lap, albeit that that's not the leader anymore. But something's not right with Sedgwick's car, is it?
No, it's not behaving itself on those tyres. And I mean, Adrian Burks was in a very difficult situation there where he wanted to go down the round the outside of Alex Sedgwick, but he had to go down the inside of Guillaume Hesno, and he wasn't sure whether the gap was going to close or not. Look at the mid-corner speed that Adrian's able to carry, though. I think that Alex is absolutely
more to the point that
tyres.
Alex can't. That's the key point, the speed that Alex can't carry.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, and Mike said that Alex's tyres are shot. So, he's there trying to go, right, how far can I carry it? How far can I carry it? And I think he's hoping that someone's going to suddenly drop it and cause a caution. But I can't see it. There goes Burks up into third, down to fourth goes Sedgwick. This is great news for Aaron Smith. Well, it would be if Aaron Smith was higher than 8th position at the moment. He's got the most gains, 6th place gains, so that gives him an extra 3 points there. But he needs to finish ahead of Alex Sedgwick for that to really count. And it will do, because we're talking a gap of, what did we work out? 4 points. So Sedgwick's got a point for leading. It means that we need to get Smith up to lead a lap. 3 points for leading more and finished ahead of Sedgwick, and he probably needs to get the fastest lap.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to the wire, mate, isn't it?
It's going to be so close, because at the end of the day, every position difference between these guys is we've got Jeff Hooper and Justin Nyer coming into the pit lane now. They've given up on the tyres. Every position difference between these guys, you only lose 1 point per position, as Aaron Smith's had a bit of a blink in and out there. So it's not that much of a gap. Brian Corral's dancing around in front of Aaron Smith there. It's just so tense. I mean, it's the beautiful excitement of a final round of a championship where it can go down to the wire. I mean, we know pretty much at the moment that if Aaron Smith can get this done on Brian Crowell's and make sure that he stays in touch and distance with Connor Mills, that he is going to be the champion of the drivers, not including the pros. But as Chris told everybody at the start of this broadcast, he wants to be top dog no matter what. He doesn't care if Alex Sedgwick is counted in the championship or not. He still wants to beat him. Alistair Topley is on pit lane, Chris. He's finally given up on these tyres.
Yeah, the first to blink. That is interesting, and that is going to be surely Sedgwick's going to go, thank goodness for that. I'm coming in as well. So Topley is, and no, they haven't. They've all carried on, haven't they? So Alistair Topley's decided there's no point taking a risk. And to some extent, with the drop-off we're seeing on these guys, there is no point. James Harvey, is that getting back past Connor Mills?
Connor's just attacking him at this point.
Yeah.
He's just caught back up to him on the old tyres. And I think we were saying before that Connor does like ruining his tyres, so he's probably used to have the car handles on him, to be honest. Burks and Sedgwick in the pits.
So there we go. I was convinced that Sedgwick was going to go, thank goodness for that. And even better for him that Burks has gone in as well. He's dragged it out as much as the rest of them. Doble and Mills have gone, I'm going to carry on. Smith, who, of course, has been sort of doing some extra things out of sequence, he's carried on as well. But I cannot believe for a second that the tyres are going to be able to keep going. I mean, what we're talking about, they're lapping in the high 35s or into the 36s. So no, compared to the 33s in qualifying, their tyres are dead as well.
They will be. Mikey Doble, race leader, comes to the pits. This is Alistair Topley. I just wanted to keep an eye on where he is and where Alex Sedgwick is. Alex is just leaving his box now. Let's just go and have a quick look at Alistair. Where does he end up? Can you see Alex on the infield? Are we going to see it from the robot? There is a car on left down the inside of Hesno. That is gutsy stuff from Alistair Topley. He's going to have Adrian Burks as well, and he's going to retain that position. But wow, that was really, really brave down the inside there. Let's have a look now at who was the race leader before he came in. Mikey Doble. George Tolsma has carried on through. Aaron Smith is in the pits as well, and Connor Mills. Mikey leaves his box. Now where is Topley? He's just gone past the start-finish line. Again, we'll go on board with him. He has. He's already gone past Mikey Doble. There is Mikey coming out now, and there's Burks as well in the background. Mikey's not going to get up to speed in time, and through goes Burks. So unfortunately, the pit stop has not helped him. That extra lap on the knackered tyres.
Sedgwick's still back, though.
Yes.
Sedgwick's behind him, though. Look at that. They've managed to get past Guillaume Hesno, of course, is completely out of place with the extra stop that he put in. And Sedgwick's now trying desperately while he's already up to temperature, up to speed, up to psychologically in the zone, whatever other thing we want to throw at this. Whereas Doble's trying to get out. He's trying to make sure that he shut that door and making sure that Sedgwick can't have a crack at him just yet. But Sedgwick's now gone up, and in fact, I would say that Doble went probably lane one there, which has made it a tricky one for him. Off the corner, nearly ran out wide in towards Sedgwick. But the number 9 car's sweeping around the outside at the moment. where are we going to go? Sedgwick's in lane 2. Look, do you notice how earlier I was commenting about the fact that he was up high in that lane 3? He's deliberately put that in lane 2 there, hasn't he?
He has, and it's worked for him. That's the main thing. It has really worked there. Mikey Doble didn't really have an answer for it. We've got George Tolsma, by the way, 12 seconds out in front at the moment. He's managing to just drag this car around, but don't forget, he was one of the early stoppers in this, so how well that car's behaving, we're yet to see, but Connor Mills has just gone past him like he's not there. Connor, of course, unlapping himself, though, so George doesn't need to worry too much about that, but the gap is really coming down to Alistair Topley, so Alistair will...
36.8 he's just done, so he's well off the pace, isn't he, Tolsma?
Yeah. I think it's a bit of a surprise, though, because, I mean, George has been very quick in qualifying on these ovals.
No,
So
I mean, as in
pace,
in other words, his tyres are dead and he's still going, is what I meant more than anything. Look at Topley's back in the 33s, low 34s for Burks and Sedgwick and Doble. So, you know, he needs to. Same as Hesno, sat there in 6th now, but he's in the mid-36s. He's going to have to go in. Yeah, look at that. Tolsma is just being hung out to dry by Hooper, diving up the inside on the fresher rubber. He needs to call it quits, doesn't he? But he's pitted out of sync and he's kind of got to sort of get himself back into a strategy, hasn't he?
It's quite interesting, though, because Tolsma didn't come in the pits too long ago. He pitted on... Oh, no, sorry, it wasn't him, actually. It was Jeff Hooper and Justin Nair came in on the same lap. That's where I've got confused. It was Tolsma's teammate. Last time Tolsma pitted was lap 20. Last time Guillaume Hesno pitted was lap 26 as well. So these boys are really hanging these tyres out. But like you say, it's not doing him any favours. Sedgwick now onto Adrian Burks, not Alex Burks. They're not both namesakes. But wow, Alex now he's on this fresh rubber. He's got his confidence back, hasn't he? He's back in his flex.
Yeah, but he's gone back to that lane 3 to try and stretch it out a little bit longer. So he's doing a bit of all of the above now, isn't he? But he needs to, because he knows that Topley's sort of disappearing off down into the distance as it stands at the moment. What are we talking about? 3.5 seconds is the gap between himself and Alistair Topley at the moment in the 41 car, that lovely yellow and blue car that kind of is the pseudo leader in reality, because he's lapping considerably quicker than the unpitted George Tolsma in the 25. Tolsma's into the pits now, so Topley's going to take that back on again. Look at this, Brian Krause 48. There goes James Harvey, the Stewart Motorsport car number 40, dives up the inside. He is having one heck of a race this time, isn't he? He's trying desperately to get himself up into what will actually be 5th, because Tolsma's in the pits, and this is the fight for 5th and 6th place at the moment.
It's a hell of a scrap as well. James Harvey's been a really good sport this season. So is Brian as well. They're very, very funny guys. Brian, massive fan base on YouTube as well every time we stream this. He's made sure that James stays low there. James obviously scrubs the speed off and it doesn't work for him. A bit further down the order, by the way, Justin Nair and Jack Mace are fighting for position, 13th and 14th. They may be the last 2 cars in the field, but it doesn't mean they can't have a good ding-dong scrap as well, which is what we love in motorsport. Doesn't matter where you are, Justin just really checking out the back of that car. But it's a shame, really, for Jack Mace, because he showed great pace earlier on those restarts, but he's just not been able to summon it up again, has he, Chris?
Well, he kept getting involved in other people's instances, didn't he? Which is a real shame. We saw him come take advantage of the first one from memory, but then suddenly he was involved in something, and from my recollection, he was sort of an innocent bystander in it, and it's just compromised him dramatically. But the point being is, it's a short lap. 30-odd seconds it is. So, just keep the patience, keep yourself there trying to get back involved. All right, the leader's now coming up to try and put a lap on him, but he just needs to play it cool, Trig, play it cool.
Apparently, we need to get a replay of Connor Mills coming in the pit lane. Apparently, that's not the actual pit lane entrance, but I'm just trying to see whether we can find it, and it doesn't... Oh, here we go. Apparently Connor Mills did a brilliant entrance to the pit lane. Whether he spun it or not, we've been told this by the race director Mike Yao, who is doing a cracking job as always tonight. Here he comes down off the bank, and that's a bit of a harsh one. Oh, sideways.
Sideways. That is...
Oh, way up now. Oh dear. Big drift. Oh, kisses the wall. That's the wrong pit stall, Connor. If that was the right one, that'd be great. If that was the right pit stall. But unfortunately, that's what's lost Connor the time, because I did notice he dropped down a bit. He's now in 10th place, so... Aaron Smith has been handed a real lifeline there in the championship. That's one of the guys out of his way as it stands here, Chris.
That is a real shame, isn't it, that has happened. And interesting as well. We got the other note that said Adrian has told Alex to go by.
Interesting.
I don't know whether that's just Adrian saying, look, we know that you're going to be quicker. Just carry on. and off you go. And I don't know. That's an interesting one. There's got to be more to that than meets the eye.
Yeah.
But in fairness, and it probably was right, is that look, Sedgwick then also got past Mikey Doble, and he's now trying to close in on Alistair Topley. Lap time wise, is that he's lapping virtually identical. That was earlier. Apologies, that was earlier. That Mike's just let me know. Thank you. Oh, when Alex's tyres were shot, it was the other way round. Actually, is that Alex told Adrian to carry on through. Apologies, I've misinterpreted that. But
right.
Sorry, Mike. Thank you for letting us know. But yeah, the point being is that Alistair Topley and Alex Sedgwick, the top two, they're both lapping 34.6s. So you know, it's down to 1 point. No, actually, what's the gap? 3.5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's but then he's not managing to eat into it anymore. But Mikey Doble's is Mikey Doble looking from that is pretty close behind him, isn't he still?
He is indeed. If we go on board with Mikey, bang, there he is, and there's Alex Sedgwick right in front. That is close to the wall. That's flipping scary. Beautiful lighting conditions here as well, though, as the sun has set in Miami. I wish we were actually there doing this, Chris. I tell you what, if Alex could, Alex and the boys could fund us to do that, that would be pretty mega. But we'll see. There's palm trees on the right anyway, albeit virtually. But this is now becoming a really good chase from Mikey Doble, and to be honest, he's come alive at this final oval, hasn't he? It's brilliant as he goes down the inside, as Alex goes a bit deep now. Justin Nyer in there as well. This is like hacking it on Schumacher around Ricardo Zonta, was it?
But he's done it because Doble did brilliantly there. He knew that Nyer was going to be there going, I don't know where to go, and that Sedgwick just got absolutely compromised, left behind Justin Nyer, who did absolutely nothing wrong. But all of a sudden, Sedgwick's now gone diving down towards the end, towards the inside side, to try and see whether he can actually get himself back onto to Doble. He's not going to be able to. Mikey Doble, look at that transition. Wowzers, that you really got to see it there, didn't you? From the flat straight onto the banking of the bend there. That really unsettled Mikey Doble, but I think the good news for him is that it scared the bejesus out of Alex Sedgwick, and he just played it cool in the end, and he didn't lose out the space that he could have then.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we've seen some of the drivers drive it in really deep up there and then get a really good run off the corner, but it's just not worked for him there. Aaron Smith, by the way, is now closed in on James Harvey. Aaron has summoned the pace that has got him to the top of the championship now, and he's starting to put the pressure on the Student Motorsport car. A very, very pretty Student Motorsport car. I must reiterate that every time I see it. It's gorgeous. Love that camo pattern. Honestly, I do. I mean, just a little nerdy bit here. I'm a humongous fan of Russian aircraft and aviation, and they use a very similar camo pattern to that called jigsaw camo, and it looks great on most things. As Aaron Smith doesn't care about the pattern on it, he just wants to overtake it now as he's coming down the straight. He's probably thinking, what's Chaz on about in the box if he's listening? But into turn one, and the Wasp has gone down the inside again. That's a very low line there, though. That's probably the lowest line we've seen this evening, other than in an incident, isn't it?
And that's interesting. That worked perfectly, didn't it? That is very intriguing. Hugging the apron there is, we haven't really seen people really go that low, but it really has worked. I mean, he got the run in, and I think he was just trying to make sure he stayed right out of the way of him there. Interestingly, by the way, before we dropped away from Sedgwick and Doble's fight, we suddenly saw they were being separated out by the George Tolsma 25 car. And, of course, he's only just pitted, and it was amazing to see the difference. Yeah, look, Tolsma's even gone blasting past Doble. Look how much drop-off we're getting on these tyres, that Tolsma has just been in, taken fresh tyres a long time after these guys, and he was able to breeze past them like he was the fastest car on the circuit. It goes to show you just how dramatic it is.
And I tell you what, as well, just to add to that, Tolsma pitted on lap 63, Doble pitted on lap 57, and Hesno, well, I'm not quite sure what he's trying to accomplish out here, but he pitted on lap 26. So he's done 50 laps on these tyres now as Guillaume Hesno. He's just lost the place to George Tolsma, and George has already gained 1.2 seconds on him in half a lap. So he's really not got the pace in those tyres. But yeah, Doble and Sedgwick, 57 and 56 were their pit stops, and then 63 was Tolsma. So only 6 laps difference, mate. It's just incredible, isn't it? Like,
just to see that he's able to blast past them, even though he sat there in 11th place at the moment, it's to see that speed difference. It just really brought it to light there. This is like two of the second and third place cars that quote-unquote back marker was able to blast past.
Hesno heard me, I think. He's just come in the pit lane now. He's thinking, yeah, okay, fair enough. Mikey Doble, though, car 22, position 2, and he's done a 34.2 as his best lap of the race. And he's on for some really good points here if he keeps this up. You can just see Sedgwick in the background there, but if I'm honest, it doesn't really look like Alex has got that much of an answer for him at the moment, which is very intriguing because, I mean, not to blow his horn as we have done all season, but we know, obviously, I mean, Alex does this in real life. He's an incredible racing driver, to be in all honesty, but it's the fact that Mikey's come into the championship. He wasn't 100% confident coming into it. You know, he had a few results towards the rear of the field, but all of a sudden he's a front runner, and it's great to see. I love it. I really do love it. Oh, Jonathan Hill, by the way, has also just had James Harvey. I just saw the gap come very quickly down. Then all of a sudden he's gone through and gone past him now. Let's have a quick look how that happened. Just see what the situation was. Down the inside, hugs that lower line. It just looks like he hooks it up and gets a really good run on exit. And that's how easy it is, ladies and gents. You can very, very easily just turn that around. And, oh, I say that, Jonathan Hill's come in the pit lane, so never mind, let's ignore Chaz. Here's your race leader, though, Alistair Topley, and I was bigging up Alistair at the beginning of the broadcast, saying just how good he is on these ovals, and he's one of those drivers that really comes alive, and he's shown that so far. 3.2 seconds is the gap back to Mikey Doble. We'll see the gaps overall on the left-hand side. They are live and updating, so apologies for them flickering around. But, wow. This is a very strong performance by Alistair at the moment, and I'm very pleased to see it. Been a fan of Alistair's driving since we first came here at Miami a few months ago, but we're just over the halfway point now. 80th lap is coming up, and it's 132 to go. Sorry, 132 total. But Alistair's done a smashing job in that Penske car so far, but the closest two on track is actually Alex Sedgwick chasing down Adrian Burke. So we'll go on board and show you the speeds these guys are doing. As you can see, the light is really dropping now. Flames out the exhausts. Alex riding up very high near that wall. To be honest. Oh, sorry.
Just correct that's Doble, not Burke. Don't forget, because Burke's behind you.
We
got a caution.
Brian Crowell's championship contender is in the wall hard, and that is stopped on the exit of turn 1 or mid. Whoa, okay. Woohoo! James Harvey. Get that man some new pants. Oh, Justin Naya here, he was a lap down. Oh, no! Justin just in. News just in. Justin turns in. I don't really have many words for that, unfortunately.
I don't think he's going to be happy with that, is he?
No, and have another look just again. I mean, that was close, but I mean, Brian, to be fair, he makes a little move to the right there and the car straightens up, but Justin turns in as if he's not actually there. He just...
We gone DD all of a sudden, have we?
Yeah. But it's a massive impact. I mean, the sparks and everything make it look fantastic. Thank you, iRacing, but Brian's not going to enjoy watching that one back again and again. We'll go on board with James Harvey and just see how this develops. Get ready to lean back from your screens, everybody. I'm already leaning back on my chair. Here comes Brian Crowell, and suddenly it's moving. Wow, hold on for the ride. Suddenly James Harvey's going to invest in roller coasters. Alistair Topley.
Toilet paper.
Yeah. Well, at least it's not the beginning of lockdown where he couldn't get hold of any. Tell you what, but that was a bit uncalled for there, if I'm honest, on Justin Naya's part. I mean, whether he thought that Brian had already committed to the corner is up to him. We've got some great shots here of all the cars coming in the pit lane. They all stop, they all go up on the tyres very, very quickly. And I'm just keeping an eye on Topley because he was your race leader before they all came in. They all go up for the left-hand side as well. The reflections look beautiful. He lights up the rears and away he goes. Sedgwick, woohoo, nearly. Alistair uses the advantage of sim racing there, where you can go through the other cars in the pit lane, but manages to just get out there. Sedgwick, importantly, is ahead of Doble, and Smith is 5th. Tolsma is actually in 6th, and he's stayed on track as well. So his tyres are about, 17, 18 laps older than everybody else's, though. So if anything, we're probably going to see him pit next time round, aren't we?
Well, yes. I mean, he was probably hoping that safety car would have come earlier, where he'd still have the, life. I mean, he's going to have life if we consider that the idea is you're supposed to try and push these tyres to sort of 30, 35 laps, that sort of thing. But after 10 they're gone. Yeah, he just can't. I mean, he would have done too many to have got any kind of optimum performance out of it, and so he's had to go. And he's going to be frustrated because it's got rid of it. However, at least when they get back out, he's going to be down the pack, but he's on a par with them now.
Yeah, that's it.
They're all going to be on fresh tyres.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the safety car, isn't it? With not just this, but I mean any motorsport really, it levels the playing field for these guys. George Tolsma, a little bit of a ginger entrance to the box there, just to make sure you can lock up the fronts on these cars.
Entrance.
Yeah, ginger entrance.
Is that like a ginger step kid?
Well, my missus is ginger, so I'm going to stop the jokes very quickly there. Alex Sedgwick then is up into second place, ahead of Mikey Doble, and well, Brian Crowell's in front of him on the road, but of course down in 11th place now. Brian's taken that fast repair, which again, taking advantage of the world of sim racing. We can see the stars and stripes and the bald eagle. Well, I love that livery. It'd be a shame if he changes it for the next season, but yeah, Brian now looking like third on the road, but of course effectively a lap down on the other guys. That's Guillaume Hesno, Jonathan Hill and Jack Mace in front of him there. Alistair Topley just behind. Well, Alistair's going to be loving this. Aaron Smith in the pits there, Chris. That's interesting.
And I'm assuming he didn't go in.
I think he did actually. He was his last one was 81, so yeah, he joined everyone else last time round. Strange. Aaron's doing some very strange behavioural traits tonight. He's really tricky, isn't he?
It's the fuel. It's the fuel thing, isn't it? He's trying.
That was a drive-through. He's driven straight through. Hopefully.
Well, this is what he was doing earlier, and we were informed that it was something to do with fuel. That even when he was driving straight through, I don't know.
Well, I wish we could bring him in, but I mean, we can still bring somebody else in. He's not singing as he said he would be when we brought him in. Connor Mills joins us in the box. Connor, how are you finding this race so far? I mean, the championship contenders are all over the place.
Yeah, it's up and down. It's up and down. Start there was a bit of an issue, and then like an absolute idiot, I spun it coming into the pits because I forgot to put the bias back to the front.
Don't worry, we definitely didn't see that on stream and definitely didn't rewind to it. Just to make sure.
Your Honour.
What it is, I've been struggling with the tyres. I found out that a lot of the guys are sort of winding the brake bias back to rotate the car when the tyres start to go off. So I thought, I'll try and do this, and then I forgot to put it back forward to come into the pits, and the rear just went. So that halted it. But we've got a yellow now, fresh tyres, make up some positions, and see where we can finish up. Hopefully, this yellow and another yellow, I think, will be sweet.
Well, as you explained there, then, so you get one lesson in tyre management, and then another lesson in remember to always put your brake bias forward again. So yeah, it's
yeah.
it's
I mean, this has worked out a bit better than I thought. I'm actually in fifth.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
That's not too bad. I can do some damage from there, so to say.
Not physical, I hope, but
not literally.
Well, we'll see how chrome the front of that car is come the end of it. But best of luck for the rest of it, Connor. Great to speak to you.
Cheers, mate.
He's a great character, isn't he, Connor Mills? He's so funny.
Absolutely.
We've had some
Justin Nair did get a penalty. He's been not a penalty. He's been end of line for the 77 car, but that doesn't really compromise him that much, sadly, does it? And Brian Crowell's really did lose out there.
Yeah, it was a horrible incident. It was just the fact that Brian's just going about his race, just to try and fly through, get past lap traffic as you do naturally, and. Yeah, got caught out there, unfortunately, by Justin. However, lap 85 going on to 86. Alistair Topley now in the box seat. And he puts his foot down. Oh, a little bit of movement on the rear there. I think he spun the rears up. Alex Sedgwick is right alongside him as they go across the line. Then Mikey Doble, he's waiting in the wings for something to happen. James Harvey's off and in the wall.
Oh, no.
There's no yellow out for that yet. He's put it back on the circuit. Oh, James. He was having a beautiful start. Well, a beautiful start. He was having a beautiful run. I mean, the whole race has been fantastic so far. That's absolute heartbreak for him as Sedgwick goes round the outside. We will break away very quickly just to have a look at what happened to James Harvey, though.
Yeah, we weren't told to worry too much about this restart. Wow.
He's done it himself. He's spun the rears. Oh, and he just gets hit by Jack Mace as well. What happened to Jack afterwards? Did he lose it? No, he's still got damage, though, but... Yeah, James just spun the rears on his own there, bounced off the wall, and as the car came back down and settled again, it spun again once he changed up. Alistair Topley's now still holding on somehow to this from Alex Sedgwick there. What a great scrap.
I love the fact we got Chris Matey Hill, one of my friends that does actually race the Sims as well, and he says, "Evening Dawes, is that me in 10th? Well, 9th now, and I'm afraid not, mate. That's Jonathan Hill, but he's got a great livery." That was really weird from James Harvey, wasn't it? Sedgwick's now coming back at Topley, but it's still not sorted. That he kind of was in a straight line, lost it again, and then lost it again, and it was just unfortunate that. I'm not sure what happened there. He should, on the fresh tyres, we'd have expected a bit more grip there, but it was almost as if he was still on the old tyres, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a real strange, or maybe the contrast between heating the tyres up during the safety car and cold circuit now as it cools down a bit. Obviously, as the light drops, Topley's just gaining the lead again, by the way, at the bottom of the shot. This is Adrian Burks just chasing Connor Mills, who's now up into 4th place, who we were just speaking with a moment ago. He says he can do some damage from here. Well, we'll have to see what he can do. Aaron Smith, though, still in 6th place. He's doing everything he can at the moment for this championship, and other than Sedgwick, I think he's on his way to winning it still, which is good for him, but he knows, we know better than anyone as well, that he really wants to be up there. Topley, though, we'll go on board with Sedgwick just to have another look at this battle close up. Look how close these pair are together. It's great.
Oh, and look at that now, where the sun has gone. We're in the floodlights, and Sedgwick now desperately trying to find a way. He's massively in the slipstream, and he's going to try. Well, look at that. As soon as he pulled out there, is that he just lost the flow completely. Back in he goes, and it's now as we go onto the straight, that transition, that difficult transition, and he's prepared to just sit there right in the draft. Now go up the inside. Is he able to pull a slingshot here? He's forced down to lane 1, leaving Topley in lane 2, allegedly the quicker. But look at that, he washed out a little bit there. Out wide ever so slightly, which means that the advantage now goes to Sedgwick in the black number 9 car. Kind of. Is it fair to call it advantage? I don't think it is at the moment, is it? It is do-si-do your partners. And Doble's basically sat there in the 22 blue and white car, the title sponsor, Doble Motorcycles, sat there deliberately with a grandstand seat at the moment. He doesn't need to defend from the last season's champion, number 1, Connor Mills, sat there just behind them. And these two are just going at it like a pair of prize fighters. And I think that Doble's kind of hoping they're going to come unstuck, but you've got to applaud both of them. The way they are racing is hard but fair.
Definitely. I wouldn't want to see these players play tennis, because if that was advantage, I don't know what juice would be. It'd be absolutely unbelievable. But what great racing from Alistair Topley. And I was saying before, of course, he comes alive on these ovals. He was great when we first came here, and he's been quick at the ovals all season. Daytona he was good as well until an incident obviously knocked him right down the order and took him out of the race eventually, I believe. But that Mustang is in some very capable hands right now when it comes to Alistair Topley in the Rogue Motorsport machine. Behind as well, don't forget Connor Mills, he's waiting in the wings for Mikey Doble to do something. Adrian Burks has just dropped down quite a bit. I think he might have scuffed the wall maybe, because it was like 0.2 of a second there, and it's just dropped to 0.8 of a second now. So Adrian might have had a little bit of a moment coming off the final corner, but the closest two on track still Alex Sedgwick and Alistair Topley. Alex going sort of slightly lower there just to say, go on, come with me, dare you. But that middle line though, it's the optimal line, isn't it, as he was saying before, but it does kill the tyres a little bit more over the long run.
No, exactly. And of course, it's only really from what we're reading between the lines as non-racers as you and I, in fairness, aren't, is that, reading between the lines of what Sedgwick was saying is that, it is the great line, but it doesn't sound like you're always going to guarantee to pick yourself up on the scene from this sort of aged tarmac that we've got out there on this circuit. And suddenly you saw that Sedgwick ran very wide there. I don't think he quite touched the wall, but he probably changed his underpants as he got up close to it. And Topley was able to close back in again. Incidentally, I see that James Harvey hasn't come back out again. I wonder whether that tells us that actually it was a rig issue that's caused that, because it was very, very odd what happened, wasn't it, off of that restart, that it did smack as if something maybe broke on his rig there, his sim rig, that's put him sadly completely out of the race, which is a shame because, as you said, he was doing fantastically well. He's like 5-6 laps down now, so he's out of this race.
Yeah. Actually,
it just moved.
It moves. It's alive. I think as well, he's not actually taken the fast repair. I think he might have taken it again. It's a similar situation to Jack Mace. I think he might have taken
6
the
laps.
fast repair
I don't
earlier.
think so. No, I can't believe that's going to be 5 laps worth of repair work there. I wonder whether he's had to do actual real life repair work there.
Well, it would have it would have had to tow back to the pits as well, which usually takes a few minutes from the incident. Unless he drove it in himself, I suppose. But yeah, 4 minutes 15 in the pit lane, so a bit of a nightmare for James, I'm afraid. But good to see him still giving it a go, though, and getting back out there. Fair play to him. Absolutely cracking stuff. George Tolsma as well, he's doing a good job here. He's ahead of championship contender Brian Crowles, of course, thanks to the incident with his teammate. He's probably going to come up to the back of that stage 1 car and think, oh, not again. Just, please let me past. But this is for position now, and, you know, George Tolsma isn't obliged in any way to get out of his way. I mean, he certainly wasn't before. The pair of them did make contact and both get a warning for it, so we'll see what Brian can manage this time. But he's got a nice, clean, shiny car this time, Chris, so I'm hoping for his sake that it's going to be a bit easier this time round. As he looks to the inside, George comes down a little bit, though. He says, no, I'm not letting you have this that easy. You've got to work for your championship points, mate. Brian just having another little peek.
It's, I mean, you think that was 41 minutes ago that these two had their moment. That's some time ago, but I think they've probably got memories of an elephant, to be fair, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
As they're still going, and we've still got plenty of fighting left to go. And that was a little bit wild and wide there from the Tolsma car just ahead. That sort of lovely sort of yellow and sort of pinky purpley car, the number 25, just ahead of Brian Crowles. Brian Crowles not where we expect to see him in 8th position. And he's got another cracking run there. I think he's just got to be patient, you know, because he's going to get the run on Tolsma, because that Tolsma car does not look comfortable at the moment, does it?
And interestingly enough as well, Tolsma's tyres are 2 laps newer than Brian Crowles. Brian Crowles pitted on lap 80, the lap before the pace car, of course, because of his incident that caused it. And George Tolsma pitted on the 2nd lap of the safety car. So that was the only difference between them. So really, they've not actually had that much strain between them in those 2 laps difference as well. So I think that they're on a pretty level playing field when it comes to tyres here. Brian's just showing quite a lot of consistency with his lap times. Really good pace off the corner. George, like you say, a bit wild as he goes in there. Alex Sedgwick and Alistair Topley, they're right together again here. Just noticed it on the timing screen. Alistair is not taking this line down. He's got the chance of a win, and he wants to take that away from Alex Sedgwick. Jack Mace is coming up in front of them now. The Matt Blue machine. As they go around him. Oh, Alistair has to come up there, and that has compromised him a bit, but he's going to be in the slipstream as they get off the corner here, Chris. It's a bit of an interesting dynamic, that one.
Bless him. He's that Jack Mace was lovely there, wasn't he? That he clearly tried to get out of the way, but yeah, ironically, I think it just spooked the horses a little bit there for Alistair Topley, and he did a good job just to keep it under control, but it meant that he had to tuck himself back into line. And did you notice in the background is that the blue and white 22 machine's coming up on these two as well? Look at that. He's suddenly right up with them. And suddenly there was 3, and that is an interesting thing. Now, Doble's not necessarily featuring in the championship, but I don't think any of them really care now, do they? They just want to get involved. Sedgwick is doing what he needs to do. Incidentally, by the way, he's also got the extra point for fastest lap of the race. But would you believe it's not by a lot? 33.86 is his fastest lap. 33.89 for Alistair Topley. That's how close it is. What an incredible job we're doing here. Aaron Smith, of course, is down in 6th place, so he's losing, what's that, sort of 5 points out to Sedgwick there. Plus, he's not led a lap, whereas Sedgwick, of course, has. So that's the 1 point that's being lost out there as well. However, Aaron Smith has gained 8 places, so he does gain 3 points there. It's not going to be enough for him at the moment. He needs to move himself up through this order and try to put in a banzai lap to see if we can get that extra one as well.
Yeah, there's plenty of work to do.
That? Did you follow that?
Just.
I've got a headache now.
Last time round, before that lap, it was 35-0s from Sedgwick and Topley, and Mikey Doble did a 34.8. He's done another 34.8. Topley did a 34.9, and Sedgwick did a 35-0, so they've closed again. Mikey Doble sits 8th in the championship on 252 points, so like you say, not really much to worry about. He will overtake Billy Fletcher with this result, because Billy's only 8 points ahead. Guillaume Hesno as well, 270. And then Jason Glenn, 271. He's not here tonight either, so Mikey Doble will benefit a lot from this and probably get a top 5 in the championship if he keeps this together. But this fight at the front is only going to help him even further. As just a bit further down the order, by the way, Brian Crowles is still trying to get past George Tolsma. Not a repeat of before. There is a tap. Oh, honestly, boys, get a room. Somehow Tolsma doesn't hit the wall on the outside, but again, I think it was just a little bit of a squeeze there, but I'm not 100% sure, so apologies, George, if it wasn't, but Now Brian's got both these Stage 1 cars in his mirrors. So you can just leave me alone. I've got a championship to fight for. Go away.
Do you know what? That to me smacked of Brian Krause actually allowed the 25 car back through then, as though he possibly actually felt that he tapped Tolsma out there because he let him through up the inside quite easily there. The bad news for him is that Justin Nair in the 77 car just behind him, I think they also had a moment earlier. Yeah, it was him that put him into the wall dramatically, wasn't it, earlier for the last caution period?
Yeah.
And not that Nair is involved in this fight. He's a lap down. Aaron Smith's going steady. Did that look steady for Smith just ahead there? Because he's only that car is going slow because Jack Macy is now chucked out the way. I've got to applaud Jack Macy. He's doing a wonderful job, the young man there, of trying to keep out of this. But that Aaron Smith car is not on the pace.
35.8 last time round, 35.3 for Tolsma, 35.4 for Brian Krause. So, yeah, Aaron Smith really not on the pace here. He's not managing to wrestle this car around well at all. Topley and Doble are still close together, by the way, at the front. Look at this. Mikey's properly into this fight now. And I'm loving this because it's Sedgwick who, yeah, fair enough, he's been a front runner most of the season. But he's got two of the guys that haven't been, other than the ovals, that are really showing him that they can keep with him on a track like this. It's fantastic stuff. And we've got, 25 laps to go yet. So plenty more action to come. And under the lights, doesn't this just look gorgeous at Miami?
It really does, it really does. Sedgwick at the moment is scoring 6 points more than Aaron Smith by my crude maths that I've just quickly worked out with all the different bits and pieces that are able to gain more. Actually, no, that's not true because I'm forgetting the point that for pole position, didn't Sedgwick get pole? He did, didn't he? So
he did, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got an extra point there. So actually, that means it's 7 points different. So at the moment is that Aaron Smith's efforts are not working and he needs to pull a rabbit out of the hat to do anything about this, and he needs to hope that Sedgwick's going to drop back. But even if he drops to the back of those guys, he's only going to lose 2 more points there, so he's still going to be 5 points more. And he came into this, what did I say it was? The gap between the two was already 4 points. So at the moment, Sedgwick's doing what he needs to do. But look at this, is that Tolsma and Krause still fighting. Something's not right with Aaron Smith's number 70 car there, is it?
Just in front, I'm trying to figure out who that was. Someone went in the wall. Jeff Hooper skimmed the wall. Brian Krause has actually got both of them done down the inside there as well. And now he's in a great position because he's already passed Jeff Hooper while the other guys haven't. Tolsma and Smith side by side. Smith has to get out of it. He can see Alex's points in the championship getting further away. Jeff Hooper in the wall again. He's just trying to stay out of the way here. Not quite doing as good a job of it as Jack Macy's been doing. But Aaron Smith, well, even with the little blink here and there as well, not having the smoothest ride towards getting this championship sealed. And to be honest, if anything, Justin Nair is now putting him under pressure as well. I mean, the tyres, Aaron Smith pitted on lap 81, same as everyone else, so he's not really killed the tyres off or anything and had any sort of disadvantage in that respect. I mean, whether it's the fuel, but I can't think it'll be that much different because it seems to be affecting it over a run, doesn't it? It's not really a consistent difference in pace from when they first get on with it. He seems quick to begin with, and then he just starts to drop off.
But look, I mean, he's even struggling there against the 77 Justin Nair. That's a lap down. Oh, careful, Smith. Don't go running wide there. But, yeah, that car is not happy at the moment. For whatever reason, we do not know. And, of course, that means that he's plummeting down to 8th place. Jonathan Hill will probably be closing in on him soon. There we go. He's in the pits. So he's realised that car is not in good health, as we could tell it. And he's gone, I'm out, I'm changing right now. Now, this could be interesting. Look at this, 111 laps to 132. He's going to hope that he won't actually have to stop again. These guys, what are they going to do? Are they going to blink now? I mean, the problem for him is he's far enough back. Now, he needs to keep an eye, probably not on Sedgwick anymore, because you've got to say Sedgwick has largely got this wrapped up with the extra points and all of that sort of stuff at the moment. Now, of course, he then removes himself by his own admission as being the pro, is that he removes from like the secondary part of the championship, that Aaron Smith comes into this leading, if you will, ahead of Brian Krause and Connor Mills. Well, suddenly Smith's not doing well against Krause and Mills. The good news for him, Mills and Krause aren't doing great either, really. They're sat there in 5th and 6th. You said it earlier, actually, when we brought Connor Mills in, is the championship protagonists are all over the shop.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, they didn't even all do this sort of back of the grid start that they were talking about. But look at this now from Aaron. This car is going to be hooked up now. We need to really keep an eye on this. He's unlapping himself here from Brian Krause when he goes by. Just down the inside he goes. But this is important now because every lap that Aaron does on these fresh tyres, while the competitors at the front, such as Alex and Mikey and Alistair Topley, are struggling on older tyres as well, the more time he's going to gain. Because when they get to the end of the run... Oh, Jeff Hooper's around and in the wall, apparently. Jeff Hooper's stopped anyway. There is a yellow. Now, Aaron Smith has just taken tyres here, Chris. That is a stroke of genius. He wouldn't have known that was coming, but that could put Aaron Smith in the box seat. That's a massive championship changer.
Wow. This really plays this one up, doesn't it? And like you say, is that you can't say that this is a masterstroke. To be honest, he had no choice but to come in, did he? He had to. Now, this is interesting, though. Jeff Hooper, I'm sure we saw him. He's just come in. He's on fresh rubber, isn't he? So he's not got that fully up to temperature. And that was Toadie's wild ride all of a sudden, wasn't it?
I think maybe just a bit of overconfidence on new rubber. It's easy to do in these cars. They feel really planted when you come out the pit lane, but all it takes is a bit of over-eagerness with your right foot. Now, Aaron Smith then, as we say, he's currently down in 9th position, but you watch these guys in front now. They're all going to come on pit lane. And Aaron, well, he's not really got any need to. James Harvey's going to carry on as well. He's, of course,
Did I miss,
last.
by the way, that Doble's ahead of Topley?
He is, isn't he? I think in all the excitement. Let me just, while we've got chance, we'll go back and have a look. Here is said move. Thank you for spotting that, Chris.
I was
nice.
I wasn't sure whether I was going mad or not because, of course, these guys have been, line dancing at the front anyway, frankly, haven't they?
Yeah, they have indeed. It's nice textbook move, that, to be honest. Oh, a little bit out of shape on the exit. Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
Nicely done. Right, so what are we going to get off pit road? Where is Smith in relation to all these guys? This is intriguing. There he is. I'm not sure where that puts him. You go chopper cam.
They're moving still. He's just on the back straight, is Aaron Smith. So he's not actually going to have gained the positions under safety car because of how far the pit stop put him down originally. So it's actually almost come out at fair play. Oh, I thought that was going to be a lot different to that. He's ahead of Tolsma, but that's it. And let's have a look. Jonathan Hill there, in 7th place. Sorry, means Smith is 8th.
No, is he? Isn't it? No, he's not. Is he? So
yeah, I thought that was a given there that he was going to be right with him because he would have.
The problem is that, of course, whilst his pit stop's been taking place, the rest of the field have, of course, been up to full speed, and he's not been able to be at full speed while these guys have been going into the pits.
And the thing is, as well, he was a lap down, so he wasn't even on the lead lap when they were all behind the pace car. So he's had to do the extra lap while these guys are in the pits.
Aaron Smith's gone in.
Aaron
Smith's gone into the pits again.
Well, he's maybe thought, stuff it, I'm just going to get the fresh tyres anyway. May as well go for it.
He's not gone into his box again, though, or is he?
He is going in.
Oh, he is.
Just a bit further down for Aaron. There he is. Oh, is that an overshoot?
I think
he's judged that well, hasn't he? Wow. Something to do with the car being black and yellow and there being a black and yellow line for it to hug along there. Wow. That was quick. That was 2 tyres. He's taken 2 tyres there to the outside just to make sure that thing is ready. And he is locked and loaded now for a good final stint.
The thing is, though, is that you can't say he's going to have an advantage over them. He's just going to have parity.
It's all very scary, isn't it? It's just, I mean, I'm tense in the box knowing that he wants to obviously take this off Sedgwick and he wants to get the championship overall, but wow.
Do you know what? We need to be keeping an eye on where is it? Let's have a look. Connor Mills, Brian Krause. I mean, it was Aaron Smith, to be fair, he had quite a chunky lead over Krause and Mills, didn't he? Krause and Mills for 3rd place in the championship, or 2nd and 3rd if you remove the pro. There's only 5 points between those two, and they're sat there line astern in 5th and 6th. That's not going to be enough for Connor Mills as it stands at the moment because there's only 1 point different there. Neither of them led a lap. Neither of them have got a fastest lap. In terms of they're not going to feature in the gains there, so it's literally going to be the points for their positions as it stands. So that's going to be enough for Krause. Now, what does that do compared to Aaron Smith? Aaron Smith is behind Krause 1, 2, 3 places. It's going to be enough for Aaron Smith to secure the AM championship, if you will.
Yeah, it will be. He's just slowing down
So
a lot there. I'm not sure.
Krause is going to have to try and jump through. You know, he's going to try and pull something off.
Yeah, and with Connor Mills around him as well, fighting in the championship with him, I don't think he's going to make that very easy for him here. So this is going to be a very focusing last couple of laps, last 15 laps in the championship, everybody. Make sure that you are on a seat that has a very long leading edge, because you're going to be on that for quite a while now. Make sure it's got a comfy edge, because I'll tell you what, I'm on the edge of mine. We've got lap traffic still in front here, so they're going to get waved around any second. We'll just see them go flying through, potentially. That's James Harvey, Guillaume Hesno and Jack Mace. Those three, unfortunately, having a bit of a torrid final round of the championship. There they go. There goes James Harvey. There goes Guillaume Hesno, and Jack Mace thinks, yeah, stuff it, go through the pace car, why not? You know what? I've seen people that get too used to iRacing and the fact that you can go through the pace car, and I've seen people do that before, not realising you actually hit the pace car in other sims and cause a big accident, and it's quite hilarious while at the same time very annoying because it ruins a race. But yeah, it can be absolute hilarity with stuff like that. However, something that's not going to be hilarity for Alistair Topley is the fact that Alex Sedgwick is still ahead of him. What have you seen, Chris?
That Doble's down to 4th. He probably have said this, but I've only just really kind of clocked it when I was trying to crunch all the championship permutations. Is that Doble, we'd said, had managed to get past Topley into 2nd before these pit stops, and not only has he lost out to Topley, but he's lost out to Burks as well. So he sits there in that blue and white 22 car in 4th place at the moment. But I still cannot begin to discount him.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a wild card when it comes to the pits, hasn't he, Mikey Doble? It just seems like he's not quite got it hooked up in there. But here we go then. Potentially the final restart of the season then. Alex Sedgwick on the inside, Topley on the outside. And they're away, and Topley was ready for that, although Sedgwick's got a good run from it. Mikey Doble tries to go in the middle. That's going to be focusing with Adrian Burks as well. Bit of contact there. That was amazing. Somehow Alistair Topley's managed to hold on to it. Mikey has to back out in the middle line. They all somehow go single file. Brian Crowell's just behind there trying to get around the outside of Connor Mills. He's putting the pressure on. He wants to wrap up the championship as best he can. Mikey Doble, sunshine. Check your mirrors. Indicate. Wow, they may be they may be stickers, but flipping heck, I bet they were lighting up yellow in his head there. Wow, that was scary stuff. Oh, I bet Connor Mills has absolutely cacked himself. That was unbelievable.
He changed direction like a BMW driver there, didn't he? Look at this. Connor Mills is now coming at him. He's seen these guys playing roughhouse with each other, and he's decided to now try and dive up the inside. It hasn't necessarily worked yet, but now he is coming back at him again. 3 wide. It's like the red arrows round this corner at the moment. Burks has to tuck in behind Doble all of a sudden. Connor Mills still chomping at the bit on the inside. He's got past Burks. In fact, Burks been hung out to dry because all of a sudden Tolsma, number 25, who's having a cracking race. He's like the, boom bust really, isn't he? He's been involved in all sorts of shenanigans, but he's also been having a fabulous race. Jack Mace into the pit, sadly, so clearly some damage there. But look at this, Doble back up to 3rd. But these guys have been fighting so hard. Look at that, Tolsma up the inside in the 25 car, up the inside of 72, Adrian Burks. Krause still, he's lost out massively, really, and not in positions, but he's not been able to get involved like Connor Mills was. He's sat in exactly the same position. The top two have gone, thank you very much, and they've cleared off into the distance.
Well, Adrian Burks was in 3rd position at the start of this, and he's just been absolutely hounded and dropped back down. And I mean, you say they're like the red arrows. I hope they're not going to try and replicate the Jippo brake and put the smoke on in a minute, because I tell you what, it won't look pretty. But wow, Tolsma, like you say, he's come alive. It's been brilliant here as well. Again, Burks is just hung out to dry on that outside line. He's lost another place from it. At the front, they have certainly cleared off. That is definitely the word. I think I'd probably use a different word as well if we went live on air. But Tolsma, 5th place at the moment. I like this championship too much. I don't want to get fired.
No.
Jonathan Hill, by the way, is on the back of this train, waiting to just see what comes of age here. Aaron Smith, though, he can't get away from Jeff Hooper and Justin Nair, and it's just it's an odd performance from Aaron Smith, isn't it? It's like he's got the strategy worked out, but he just can't get that car to go forwards. I can't wait to have a word with him afterwards and just ask, did you have your glasses on? What have you been doing?
Well, the interesting thing is these guys fighting behind him, they're a lap down, because in actual fact, the car that's behind him on the standings is Guillaume Hesno, who's somewhere back there in the distance. These guys are 11th and 13th respectively. which means actually they're a lap difference from each other, presumably, from that one, because Jack Mace, who's in the pits, is separating them at the moment. So Hooper, who of course had his moment earlier, but, you know, tough. It's not like the sort of pansy racing that we're used to, where you get given the blue flag, let the leaders through, off you go, there you go, carry on your race. It's no problem, we'll look after you, we'll pander to you. No, it's like, get stuck in, boys, and you sort this one out for yourself. And these two are doing exactly that at the top. Alice, the top lead. I'm sorry, Alex, you're the boss, and we love you to pieces, but I'm got a big chunk of me that's there rooting for the 41 car of Alice Doble.
Tolsma causes the yellow.
Really?
Well, causes the yellow. He's the car that has caused it, unfortunately. Burks as well. Oh, it's another squeeze. We've seen. I'm sorry, but we've seen George doing this a lot. You know, getting very close to cars. Burks put it up the inside fair and square. He was able to go there.
He was
but
3/4 of a car length alongside, wasn't he? So Burks is there. He's down at the apron. He can't do any more there, can he?
No, and there's contact with Crowell's there and Hill as well, unfortunately. I don't know whether Jonathan lost out any more from that. Manages to recover. But, well, I said potentially the last restart of the season, and it wasn't. So there's commentator's curse, but...
That's why I wanted to smack you when you said it, to be honest. Give you a little clout round the ear, going, don't say that, young man.
Interestingly, Doble's just... Oh, Topley! Oh, there's the dummy. Conor Mills and Sedgwick.
None of them.
Alex Sedgwick.
Sneaky.
That was dummy of the year, that, for Alex Sedgwick. Flipping heck, he was almost in Daytona. He was that far off the circuit then to come back.
In fact, do you know what? I would go the other way, and I would say from the look of that, is that wasn't a dummy from Sedgwick, is that Sedgwick was aiming in, and then suddenly went, no, Topley's changed his mind. Doble wasn't going in at all. Crowell's up to 4th now. How has that happened? What a great move there.
Oh, Connor's I think Connor might have dummied him and then come back out in front. I'm not sure, because Connor was one of the ones that went to go in as well. I think maybe when they've had the overlap, Crowell's thought, oh, great, freebie. But I think they've just sorted each other out again there. But
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, but Crowell's is still up to 5th there. But yeah, you know what? Crowell's ain't confident that he's not. I think he reckons he should have that back again. Smith has gone in again.
Yeah, 11 laps difference on these tyres, and that could make all the
difference. That could play now, couldn't it? But he's from 8th, so he's got some work to do. Oh, my word. I mean, these boys just can't make this any more exciting. If they tried, this is just epic. If you're watching it now, you know, welcome. I hope you're loving this feed. It is incredible. If you're watching it back, you've got to join in live for these things. We've got 2 special events next week on the Wednesday and the Friday, where we've got the historic NASCARs. Is probably the sort of naive of me that's able to say that. And I think that there's a lot of talk is that in the winter, we're going to get this fired back up again and have sort of like, I don't know, from like say November onwards. And if you've got iRacing and the sim and everything else, get involved. If not, just get yourself watching. I mean, this Vertex Stock Car Cup is amazing. That's why Mikey Doble and Doble Motorcycles have got involved in this as well, to actually sort of stump up and sponsor this Doble Motorcycles 200 here that we've got at Homestead Miami Speedway, because it's dished up every time. You and me, Chaz, have got cheesed off when it's ended each race, because it's just blown us apart every time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really disappointing when we get to the end of a race. It may be an exciting end, but just don't want it to end at all. It's fantastic racing that we've seen all season from these guys, and we've got 5 laps, including probably the next couple as well in the safety car, that will decide a lot of it. It's going to be unbelievable. But yeah, I tell you what, trying to sort this out in your head. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen. There's a very famous meme of Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's got all these different pins and things on a board, and he's trying to figure something out, and he looks like he's going completely insane. That's what I feel like now, just trying to figure out who's on every single strategy, and when they've pitted, and how the tyres are going to be, who's on what fuel, and it's just mayhem in my head right now. But I tell you what, it's this car that you need to think about. It's Aaron Smith, current championship leader, bar Alex Sedgwick. And he's the one that needs to worry about Conor Mills and Brian Crowell, who at the moment aren't in a place to overtake him. But he's thinking about Sedgwick, who, of course, top of the standings overall. He is discounted from it as he is the pro. But still, to beat him in the championship fair and square would be amazing for Aaron Smith. But I wouldn't want to see it changed by an incident, but I think that's all it takes.
And to point this out to everybody out there is that Aaron Smith, the second, has never raced a car, is his comment. Is that somebody wrongly thought he had been out there racing certain things. He's never raced a real life car. He is a sim racer, and he's just one of the nicest guys to interview at the end, and hopefully we'll get to from a championship perspective. And the drool of his accent is perfect because, as you've guessed it, he is American. He's just fabulous, and you know, and then you've got Alex Sedgwick, that is a pro Euro NASCAR racing driver. I've commentated on him many a time at the American Speed Fest at Brands Hatch. He's still hoping to take his career stateside into these things for real, and he's certainly got the talent to be able to do it. And you know, there's just so much going on here. Connor Mills, I've commentated on Connor Mills numerous times in the Legends. He's brilliant in the Legends. These pocket rockets that are just so good to watch. Plus, he's been in single-seaters in the, well, they were called Formula Fords, but they weren't really Formula Fords in my eyes because they had slicks and wings and everything. But it was when they changed to Formula 4 to what is now Formula 4 to Formula Ford. But he was amazing in the single-seaters. You've got Mikey Doble, commentated on him as well in the BMWs, and then you've got a whole load of sim racers. It's just such an incredible field, isn't it?
It really is. There's an amazing array of talent before us, and it's great to see it all come together on one track, and that's the beauty of sim racing, that we get to be able to do that as well without too much crazy organisation and having to hire out a circuit for the day and get the actual damage bills for these cars, because I tell you what, if they all met in real life, there'd be a lot more of a damage bill than we will see. But yeah, I tell you what, I think I'm going to need to replace my desk after this one, clawing away at it just with complete tension here of these final few laps. We're going to have 3 laps, lap 130, 131 and 132, to decide this race, barring any cautions. So, hold on everyone. Honestly, I hope you've got a drink ready for the end of this. Alex Sedgwick then, leading the field away once again, as he has done many times this season, puts his foot down. Mikey Doble has gone with him very well. Alistair Topley's got a good start too. Let's just keep our eye on those pairs. There's contact!
No.
Save it! Oh my goodness me, that was monster jam stuff right there. How? I'm sorry for my voice going supersonic like Chris mentioned before. But honestly, how they didn't make more contact there, I don't know. Connor Mills has managed to sneak up into 3rd place because of that. Look at Burks here trying to come through past Brian Crowell. They are trying so hard, but heart in the mouth moment.
Guillaume Hesno there is legitimately there fighting for position now. He's fought his way through from being lapped down earlier to he is actually directly behind in 7th position, so that is legitimately for position. But wow, between Topley and Doble, that was terrifying stuff and heartbreaking in a way, because both of them have been fighting fantastically here. Adrian Burks just got himself hung out to dry. Connor Mills has got himself up into 3rd. Now this is interesting. Suddenly Connor Mills in 3rd, Brian Crowell's in 6th position.
Jeff Hooper just done another little bit of grass cutting there, but yes, Connor Mills took advantage of that contact straight up into 3rd. We've got a yellow. We have a yellow.
No.
Was that because of Jeff? I really hope it's not, because
He got going again, didn't he?
Hesno's dropped down. What happened here? Because Tolsma and Hill both went past Guillaume Hesno. Oh, something's gone.
Oi.
That was Hooper in the background going off. Oh, Tolsma into...
No, come on, Tolsma. Again.
But that's not yellow worthy, that. Car doesn't spin around, or was there anyone else going around in front? There wasn't, was there?
Problem is, I think they were there on a hair trigger, weren't they, ready for all of that, because it was pack racing going on at that point. But goodness me, I mean, I'm not sure really what happened there. Is that Tolsma, who is sat there in 8th position, came up behind Hesno, almost as if they were on completely different speeds. Hesno's, he did get momentarily out of shape, but we're now getting up towards the banking of the bend. He's got, and he's just not even slowed down at all, has he, for the bend? To the point it was even making me question whether Guillaume Hesno slowed too much, but he was the same as the rest of the pack.
Yeah, it's just a bit clumsy there from George, whether he was focusing on what Jonathan Hill was doing next to him or not, but it's a real shame that the Stage 1 guys have certainly made their name on the competitors tonight. But another restart. I don't know if I can handle much more of these restarts, to be honest, because Connor Mills now, like I say, up to 3rd. I want to have another look, actually, at that moment between Mikey Doble and Alistair Topley. Let's see what we make of this then, because, again, we've seen it a little bit tonight where, you know, guys are moving around in a straight line. Doesn't need to happen, but you want to try and squeeze the car in front of you into turn 1. Let's have a look. Yeah, Alistair just comes down. And they get so lucky because Mikey's car goes on 2 wheels. Connor Mills does a great job not to go in the back of him. But,
So Mikey actually fought that well, didn't he? But yeah, Topley, I think that was a bit unnecessary there, which is a shame because he's raced amazing and we've seen him going wheel to wheel, toe to toe with Sedgwick. So I can only assume he just was not aware that he was there, because that is not what we've seen from Topley through the rest of this race, is it? Oh,
no, definitely. And to be honest, it was that tiny, tiny little touch there.
How did they get away with that?
I have no clue at all. I just want to point out just something, a bit of light entertainment while we're behind the safety car. Just watch the pace car, by the way, and how close it gets to these water barrels. That is one gutsy Mustang driver, considering that they don't really go round corners. However, one Mustang that is going around corners today is actually Alistair Topley's, and he's been doing a really good job in it, to be honest. And like you say, Chris, we're very lucky they got away with that there, and I think that they'll probably be needing the calming down time now behind the pace car for that. But yeah, it was. I think again the blessing of sim racing actually helped them there with the cars sort of intertwining and not flying and bouncing around off each other. It certainly did them a favour, but. Aaron Smith, by the way, still biggest mover in the field, 5 places gained, so he's still getting those points. But he's down in 9th, and while he's still going to have the championship wrapped up, it's just not the performance we expected to see, is it?
No, I think he's been overplaying it. You know, I think it happens. You see it in the real world as well. Is that you kind of overthink something, you overplay it. And it's like sometimes just get in and do what you're good at. I mean, okay, he's probably been considerably stronger on the road courses, but he has fared well. Other than Daytona, where it went drastically wrong for him, is that he could have kept, another phrase apparently I say is powder dry and done them all. But I think he's just overthought, overplayed, and it's unspun him really, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. You can sort of overly focus on a strategy and expect too much from it, and I think that's been the case for Aaron tonight. Whether there's something else going on that he knows that we don't, but we'll obviously have a word with him afterwards, I'm sure. Adrian Burks has been a strong one tonight. He's always been up there. Same with Brian Crowles, to be honest. I mean, Brian had obviously a very topsy-turvy race because of that accident before with Justin Nair, but he's done a great job to get it back up there, just outside the top 5 now. But yes, this has been a very fitting season finale. Plenty of drama, plenty of great racing. Heart in your mouth moments. We've still got lights on the pace car, so we'll have another lap.
Presumably we're going to go green, white, checker.
Hopefully so, yes. We should do.
If we can do 3 laps,
yeah. We'll probably be on lap 236, by the way, everybody. This is going to be an extended season finale. But I'm very, very excited to see what these guys have got in store for these last few laps, because it's been an absolute honour so far. Obviously, just while we do get the chance, Chris, it's been great to have you in the box for season 2 with me. It's been a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm sure that come another season of this, it'll be great to do the same again. Yeah,
absolutely. I hope so, mate. And of course, we get to a lovely thing is that I'm lead commentator for 2 days up at Snetterton this weekend for MSVR meeting, GT Cup and Porsche GB and all that. And of course, you've now joined Sports 2000s, which I know well from even having an old schoolmate there, and that means that you're going to be joining me up in my commentary box for the Sports 2000 races, which will be good. So I'm looking forward to that, and it's been a good giggle, and I think the first of many. Incidentally, by the way, Wesley Scott said 30 seconds of racing and 10 minutes behind safety car. You've obviously only just joined us, Wesley, because as everybody else who's watching, you'll know that it's completely inaccurate. We've had loads of green flag. It's just right at the pointy end here. We've just had a few moments, so you need to watch the whole thing, mate, because it's just been absolutely epic. It's just been all over the shop, and the championship contenders have been sort of overplaying their hands somewhat, and we get to go and do this now for hopefully green, white, checker.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed indeed. And Alex will be itching to get this race finished and wrap it up. He wants another win on the ovals, but Alistair Topley will not want that. He'll want to put a stop to that. But here we go then. Coming on to lap 137 here at Homestead Miami. Alex Sedgwick on the inside. They're all bunched up really close here. Alistair Topley's got a dream of a restart and gone with him. Connor Mills wiggling around there, honestly. Ants in your pants. Talk about it. Tell you what, that was really, really strong stuff there to keep that point in the right way. But He's got Adrian Burks and Brian Crowles all over him now. Mikey Doble's had a great restart around the outside, regains third place. And Aaron Smith, hello, where have you come from? He's come alive. He's been holding back here. Sedgwick and Doble really fighting for the front as well. Mikey Doble's in there as well, but let's keep an eye on Aaron Smith. Oh no, Connor Mills and Adrian Burks make contact. 2 championship contenders and another yellow.
Back in. No, oh really? They tapped each other straight.
Oh, no, 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 no. We do not want a yellow for that. That's a shame.
Hair trigger that one, wasn't it, sadly, by iRacing, is that they saw that one coming, but they tapped each other straight, and we could have got going. But Aaron Smith, of course, he's pitted. Oh, wowzers. What a shame, what a shame.
He's just gone board with
the
Brian
crowd
Crowles.
went screaming through, didn't he?
Yeah. This will be a great view from Brian. This will be a scary one as well, because he'll be thinking he could have been hitting the right rear quarter now as Connor comes back down. There is a tiny tap, but it doesn't set him off, does it? Woohoo! Lively.
Wow.
Very lively.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, no, in fairness, Wesley, I was only messing with you, mate. As he says, I only joined 10 minutes ago. I'll have to wait till it finishes, then watch it from the start. I know, I'm only playing with you, mate, is that we're all in this together. And I do recommend you have a look at it, Wesley, because we had 2 long on green because I needed the toilet and it was awkward. But, it's been amazing. This is bad news for Connor Mills because he's dived into the pitch. Clearly, he's had to. He's obviously suffered enough damage to give him no choice on this one.
Yeah, it's a real shame, to be honest, and we'll see that front left wing pop out maybe, or is he not going to take the fast repair? Maybe he's just after new tyres, for this final green-white checker. He just wants to have a bit of fun with the final few laps of the season and really send it out there. I imagine that humongous slide as well with the contact has probably damaged the tyres somewhat.
It's not a quick repair, look. He's already had a quick repair by the looks of that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of movement in the front left, but I don't think it's... Yeah, they're probably doing it little bit by little bit now.
But he's not jacked up, so he's not getting tyres. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that would have just been a little bit of a... Maybe, because sometimes you get, in iRacing, you get optional repairs and mandatory repairs. So obviously for it to be sort of race-worthy to go back out there, whether it simulates like ripping a bumper off effectively or that sort of time frame, has kind of clips the grass on the exit. Wow. It was probably just a couple of seconds of mandatory repairs, and he's just gone, oh, stuff it, let's just send it back out there with... I think he got fresh rubber on the right, but we'll have to see whether that makes any difference. However, it's still Cedric leading, and he's done an amazing job tonight, hasn't he?
Apparently, can you get Topley on board from the restart before? Apparently, it looked awesome.
Let's go. Let's go, shall we? Here we are, then. Alistair Topley on the dash. Beautiful details as well. You can see the reflections here on the bonnet as well. Alex Cedric alongside, and let's see how this goes.
Awesome restart.
Stays right with him, just kisses the wall. That is lively into there. Pop and flame as well from Alex's car. Look at this. And he almost gets the overlap as well, because Alex comes down to defend it. The two of them wiggling around.
There's nowhere for him to go, is there? He had the run, but there was just no gap for him to dive that momentum into, was there?
No. What's the phrase? Boogity, boogity, boogity? That was absolutely brilliant stuff. Oh,
I
love
get
it.
Sued now.
Oh, God, help. I'm sorry, Fox. I'm sorry. That's Darrell Waltrip's phrase. I'm sorry. No one does it as well as Darrell. Nobody. No one ever will. Funny note on that, actually. A friend of mine does an incredible Larry McReynolds impersonation, but I'm not going to go into that too much. However, someone that's not going to want to do a Larry McReynolds impression is Brian Crowles right now in the Stars and Stripes Brax racing machine. But, well, Aaron Smith, he's up to 6 now. We saw that he just came alive at the start of that one, but now, I think, to be honest, it's his to lose here. He just needs to stay out of trouble for these last few laps, doesn't he? And he's got it in the bag from these lot, and I think he needs to just not focus on beating Alex anymore. I think he needs to realise that may be out of the question here. What do you reckon?
I don't know.
Neither do I. Help.
I just don't know. I mean, it's just I'm not even doing it, and I'm just terrified at all of this, thinking like, where's it going to go? They're dropping down below the apron there, and you know what? I wish that we had like heart monitors on these guys. Look at that 70, the black and yellow 70. We suddenly picked it up, but Aaron Smith was there in 6th. He's actually going to be gutted with this, because the reason why I got excited when I saw it at the back of the pack is that none of those guys went out. Aaron went in and got fresh rubber, and so he was on the fresher rubber. Yes, he still is, but has he taken the optimum out of those tyres already? Remember what we said at the beginning. They only apparently, amazingly, are at their best for 10 laps, which is nothing really around this. No. Bearing in mind they're sort of taking 30, low 30 seconds, 33, 34 seconds for a lap, and after 10 of those, they're gone. So the probability is that Aaron Smith's tyres are no longer sat there going, I'm ready to rumble. I don't think they are. I think they're ready to groan like the rest of them now.
Yeah, probably. And, of course, this is the Doble Motorcycles 200 from Homestead Miami. Doble Motorcycles, the sponsor of this event. Don't forget you can head to doble.co.uk. You get free UK delivery with any motorbike purchase, or motorbike related purchase, I believe. Promo code Vertex, and that ends on the 31st of August. So thank you, Mikey and Doble Motorcycles, for that. They've been a great supporter of the championship. Fantastic sponsor as well. We are very, very grateful for it here at the Vertex Stock Car Cup, the final round of the championship. And, well, Aaron Smith then. He's had some incredible performances. I mean, Zolder, let's just quickly talk about Zolder unless the safety car lights are out. We'll have to talk about Zolder in our own time because I don't think we've got short enough time to fit everything in because it was an incredible round for him. But into the last couple of corners then, it doesn't look like they're formed up here. They're going to go for a single file restart this time round, I think. Or actually, no, Alex is starting to go up high there. So is Alistair going to go low? Is he going to line up? He's leaving it very late.
He's trying to go for a run, which surely he's not allowed to do that.
I think, oh no, he is starting to close up a little bit now. I was with you on that there. I was thinking that's a bit cheeky, but yeah, single file restart for this one. We were meant to have 132 laps. We're on to lap 143 now. Here we go. Alistair does get a bit of a run, but Alex caught him out there. Alex sort of slowed down a little bit, then got on the gas, and that was a nice start. Very well done. Let's keep an eye on Aaron. He's no closer.
I'm just going to point out is that Alex, just how clever he was. No, he didn't slow down because you're not allowed to do that. What he actually did was that he didn't go until he saw Topley come too soon. Topley then had to slow down. Yeah. Then Alex went. That's the way you do a restart. Absolutely brilliant. You'd almost think he was a pro driver.
Oh, Tolsma again.
No.
Tolsma squeezes down into Connor Mills. And it's stayed green. We have stayed green. James Harvey has to go to the apron down the inside of Justin Nyer. Hopefully nothing comes of that. White flag in the air. So this will be the last lap of the race. Alex Sedgwick then leads into turn one. Alistair Topley right behind him. And to be honest, we've seen it all too many times tonight from George Tolsma, and I'm glad it stayed green because I don't think we could deal with another yellow.
Ooh.
Aaron Smith, by the way, still in sixth, but this is getting close here for Alex Sedgwick. Topley
just tapped the wall there, I think.
Topley tries to send it down the inside one more time, but for the final time this season, Chris, it looks like it's going to be Alex Sedgwick takes the Doble Motorcycles 200 from Homestead Miami, and what an end to the season. Aaron Smith crosses the line in fifth, and he is your Season 2 champion. What an incredible drive to in the end to get a top five. What a great drive that is, but what a way to end the season, Chris. That was a beauty.
I mean, those cars were on the ragged edge on that lap, weren't they? They were trying to pull off moves, but literally the cars were not doing what they were asking them to do because they were past their best. There just was nothing left in them. And Topley tried to have a look at it. There was nothing left at all. I'd be interested to see if you go to Connor Mills at the minute, because I had a feeling he was about to sort of go and do the, hit the pace car, although I think that pace car was Tolsma. But wait, in the background now, Tolsma's disappeared off. But I thought that Connor Mills was on the mission then. But what an incredible race.
Absolutely brilliant. Great win for Alex Sedgwick. He's going to be very happy, and we're going to see some awesome donuts from him now as well with new champion Aaron Smith, and he's probably just can't believe it, to be honest. He's just sat there at the minute, and he's probably just in a bit of disbelief that he gets to do this. Brian Krause as well. Bit of destruction derby with Alex there. Oh, as Aaron's internet blips in and out. Head-on collision with Brian Krause. Alex is lighting it up. Oh, the pair of them actually planned that. There you go. Lovely donuts between the two of them. That's a bit far away. Connor Mills in there as well. But, what a season. Thank you, everybody that has been watching. This has been unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. But your champion will listen to it. Or I will. Sorry, Chris. Oh, it was... Connor Mills decides, break it up, boys. Break it up. He gives him a love tap to say well done. They turn it into a bit of banger racing. Oh, a nice little spin there from Connor Mills. We're even commentating on the donuts. But there's your race winner, Alex Sedgwick. But your champion, everybody, Aaron Smith. And what a final round. So Sedgwick, as we say, takes the win. Alistair Topley, though, he's been smashing tonight. He's been absolutely brilliant to watch. Always up there. Mikey Doble gets the podium. Adrian Burks.
Brilliant third by Doble, to be fair, because he's been having a great race. Both of those two have been amazing. Sedgwick, we know what we're going to get from him, but Topley and Doble, I mean, it's hard to pick those two out. I mean, Topley probably just gets driver of the race for me, but Doble pushed him mighty close. Awesome.
And that run through as well, partway through the race to get back into the race lead, was an absolute beauty from him. Adrian Burks manages fourth. Again, more strong points from Adrian. That was a great drive from him. Aaron Smith, your new champion, finishes in fifth position. Brian Crowles ends up sixth, just behind him there, with Jonathan Hill, a good seventh place for him. Guillaume Hesno recovers to eighth. Connor Mills eventually in ninth position, with Justin Nair rounding out your top 10. He was followed by George Tolsma in 11th place. He had some really, really good pace at the start of that one and in qualifying as well, but unfortunately the incidents just took him out of that one in the end. Jeff Hooper, 12th, 5 laps down. James Harvey, after such a great start again, another incident took him down after that restart. And Jack Mace, I'm afraid, 25 laps down. He had some good pace too. And a lot of these guys, to be honest, tonight, Chris, they had the potential, but we just didn't see it from them when it came to it, did we?
It was clearly a hard circuit to race around, wasn't it? We saw it time and time again that even the best were struggling. We saw even the pro Alex Sedgwick had a difficult time at moments as well. I don't know whether you're able to do it, but Alex Sedgwick was saying apparently it's another good pit entry for the stream to, I'm assuming when he goes in to start doing his shenanigans. But absolutely, I mean, I was glad we were on the mic rather than out there on circuit. It looked very difficult for those guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was very, very nerve-wracking, I'm sure, all the way up and down the order. We have brought Alex in now to have a quick chat with us, race winner once again. Another beautiful pit lane entrance that we've just seen there from you, Alex. And we're going to wait and watch the car go all the way down the pit lane. Look at that, lighting it up completely sideways all the way down. And I'm hoping that he pulls this off and gets a good pit box entrance as well. Let's have a little ganders. Locks it up. Oh no, it's just a nice straightforward one, but a great result for you all the same, Alex. You must be over the moon, mate. Another oval win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was, I said this about Iowa, but probably even more so for this one is, it's probably the best racing I've ever had on iRace, and it's, the battles I was able to have with Alistair. Obviously, Mikey was up there, Adrian, Guillaume, even though he was a lap down, he was quick. Connor, Aaron, Brian, George at the start. Pretty much everyone in the grid had their moment at some point in the race. So it was really cool to see because of that, and having a few sort of new names up there racing with new people, or people that you may not necessarily have raced around for the rest of the season or the season so far. So it was really good fun, really close racing. A nice way to finish off for sure.
And where it all began as well months ago at Homestead Miami, it must be a pretty nice nostalgic feeling to come back here and get another win out of it. But like you say, you were a bit hard pushed for this one, weren't you?
Yeah, it was a busy race, and I was saying to Mike on the other chat while we were in safety cars, I was looking at my heart rate and stuff like that, because I felt like I was working so hard. And yeah, it was nice to have a few different stages in the race as well. It wasn't just race to a caution pit. We had to conserve tyres at times, had to push really, really hard at the end and basically do a quali lap every lap while trying to not be overtaken or not have a lunge sent in on you. But then you had obviously the middle part of the race where it was all about really looking after your tyres and trying to manage everything, trying to get as many laps out of them as you could, which for the first run was all right, and then I kind of burnt everything up a bit trying to race Alistair off a restart, and then the second run was a bit more painful as I was just trying not to crash with a very loose race car. But no, it's been a lot of fun, and can't ask for more than that.
Alex, I've got to. Sorry, Chaz,
No,
but
go
I've got to ask the question. One of the things that we loved watching was that there was a moment, sort of towards the tail end of the race, where there was the whole dummies about going into the pits. But I actually felt yours was such a late change of mind that yours had gone past a dummy to the others, but you saw the others change their mind, and therefore they forced you to change your mind. But take us there. What actually happened?
Yeah, I mean it's the problem of being in the lead, because obviously if you're P2, P3, you can base your decision on either, I'm going to do what the leader does, or I'm going to do the opposite of what the leader does. Whereas I don't have that choice. I'm kind of the person that everyone's waiting to see what they do, and it'll either work really well for me and everyone will follow me, or I'll do one thing and every other car on the lead lap will do the opposite. So it was, I didn't want to pit, because I thought even if I came in and maybe, Alistair, Mikey, maybe like 2, 3, 4 cars behind me came in, chances are that there'd still be a lot of people that would go, okay, we've got 7 laps left, I'm going to see what happens. So it was a risk, and I didn't really want to pit, but at the same time, if Alistair committed to it behind me, then obviously I couldn't really do anything about it, because I'd have to pit, otherwise I'd just be sat waiting for everyone to send one in on me on a restart, basically. So it probably looked more sketchy than it was, because Alistair bailed out of his little dummy quite early, so I had plenty of time to roll back up the track. But he was nice to me there. He could have
Loved it. I loved that, but it really sort of brought it alive, and you could see the tactics. And we were making the comments about the fact that you said that the tyres really probably only had 10 laps of good life, which is not long when you consider 35 seconds per lap. Is that it means they go fairly quickly. We got quite a lot of green running, where you were then just holding on for dear life, all of you, weren't you? And then the pits were coming into it, and we thought there was different, pit stops coming in. We thought even Aaron Smith was going to be able to go from nowhere to suddenly back up there. And I guess you just had to sit there and try and do your race.
Yeah, pretty much. And that middle section of the race, it takes kind of a lot of willpower, I guess you can say, because you obviously want to be pushing, you want to be up front, but the only lap that pays out is the last one. So whether you lead lap 56 or lap 87 or whatever it might be, it doesn't mean anything if you don't lead the last one. So it's hard, because you've got to balance out that, I guess, instinct of wanting to just be 100% every single lap with the I can do this for 10 laps, but then the next 20 laps are going to be hell. So I probably shot myself in the foot a little bit, to be honest, because we had a big chat in the sort of competitors Discord last night about sorry, I lost my train of thought. It's been my brain about tyre saving, and I gave quite a lot of sort of tips out and what I found worked and didn't work, and probably hurt myself a little bit then, because all of a sudden everyone was just as good as me at it.
Well, it was interesting you mentioned the heart rates as well before, because Chris actually said he'd love to see the heart rates of the drivers throughout that, because it was a very, very tense one. But another win, and at the end of the day, mate, overall champion, which you must be very, very pleased with. It's been a great, great season for you, and a good show of force, I think.
Yeah, definitely, it's been really good. I mean, unfortunately, I can't pay myself anything for winning my own champion. but no, it's been fantastic. Season 1 and obviously this season 2 that we've just finished, there's been some brilliant racing. We've been very fortunate to obviously put a really good group of drivers together, a really good group behind the scenes, obviously with you guys, Adam, Mike, Rob, everyone who helps to put this together. It's hard to believe that late April we started thinking about an esports series. So it's really not been that long since we even started thinking about it. We've done 2 series and some one-off races, and it's been we're we're doing really well with views. It's popular. People like racing in it, like watching it, which you can't ask for more. And from my side, obviously, it's been great for my inner driver to have something to keep me sort of motivated, keep me pushing through lockdown. And like you said before, Chris, obviously it's a sim race, but the competition, the intensity, everything like that is very, very real. And for me personally, there's even when you go testing in a real car, you're testing. So to have that kind of intensity, that pressure on you, everything like that, it just helps you to keep sharp. And obviously, hopefully, when we go back racing for real, it should mean that I know what I'm doing a little bit more. So no, it's been really good.
Brilliant stuff, Alex. Well, very, very well done, mate. And of course, fantastic season as well. It's been a pleasure to commentate on it, and thank you for getting me and Chris in as well. I'm sure Chris will agree that it's been a hell of a lot of fun. But yeah, it's been cracking. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to though before you go, mate?
Everyone and anyone. As I said, everyone, all you guys, everyone who's helped us put this together. Obviously, as well as the names I mentioned before, we've had some amazing partners through the 2 seasons that have helped us to grow and obviously do effectively shape the series exactly how we want it. So EVP, Emergency Vehicle Products, Richard George Tailoring, Student Motorsport, been a really good supporter of the series, and obviously James Harvey's car as well, and obviously Doble Motorcycles this time round as well. It's Mikey Doble seems to do really well when it's a Doble's race, so
Yeah.
do some more deals because then it'll run better. But no, I mean just everyone who's been a part of it, be that watching, commenting on the streams as a participant, in season 1, season 2 as a one-off, it's really, really appreciated. And obviously without you guys watching, without you guys taking part, we wouldn't be able to do any of it. So no, really, really, really grateful for all of that. And hopefully we can bring this back, and we'll look to do a season 3 probably over sort of the winter off season sometime, which I'm already looking forward to.
Very well said, mate. Thank you very much once again, and we will speak to you very, very soon.
Sounds good. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Right then, after that one, well, next we're going to get in is second place finisher in that race, and I tell you what, he pushed Alex all the way. It was a great drive. Alistair Topley joins us in the booth. Alistair, I bet you're absolutely sweating after that one, mate. That looked like hard work.
Yeah, and the green-white checkers kept on coming. So after how my races normally go on this, I was expecting someone to hit me or my computer to crash, but no, cracking race with Alex, and just a shame that long green run got cut short because I think we had them all beat.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. You certainly did work well together to break away from the pack, but coming to Homestead again, I mean, the first race that I saw you in was here just a couple of months ago, and once again, you just seem to come alive here. Is it a favourite track of yours?
Not so much. I'm not too good on the mile and a half because I've been doing iRacing really since 2008, but some long breaks in there for a couple of children and a marriage and that kind of thing. But getting back into it in the lockdown, and I've just actually got myself some Fantech pedals, and I think they're doing the job.
Well, it certainly looks that way. I mean, Chris and I were loving the performance that you had. Of course, race lead as well at certain points, and really giving it to Alex. It was fantastic fun to watch. So very well done on that part. If there is a season 3, can we expect to see you in that as well?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it is a challenge with a young family to put in the time to do any practice, really. So I've already talked to Alex and said if they're mainly ovals, then I'm definitely in. If it's a mix, then we'll still try and do the oval races. But big thanks to my wife and my little girl who's 6, so she's watching on the iPad at 10 o'clock. So
love it.
Little shout out to her. But no, it's been fantastic in the lockdown, and time's been beautiful with us getting back to real racing next weekend.
Certainly does. Any questions from you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm just going to pick up. I was sort of commenting about how just absolutely fantastic you were racing. It was just brilliant to see. I've loved the blue and yellow 41 car the whole season. I've loved that car, and you really came alive. And you might not have said it's your favourite track, but I've got to be honest. I think I said it during it. It probably should be now because you were alive. The only one thing I just want to ask about was the solitary mistake that I saw was when you came down. You and Mikey Doble were close. You must have had your heart in your mouth when you two went side by side making contact on the restart, thinking, no, don't make this all over now.
Yeah, that was the moment where I thought it was all over. I could not get the tyres to stop spinning at the restart, and I knew if I went behind another car, I didn't have a chance to get Alex. So sometimes on iRacing you get what's called a bit of netcode, and I don't know if it was netcode, but I mean it certainly dinged me and I had a big slide, so glad to save it. And then I ended up getting a run off the corner and nearly got up the inside of Alex, so never mind. Hopefully in season 3 I can go one better and nick a win.
I loved it. I openly said that I was vouching for you, mate, because it was such a good fight against Alex, and you kept him honest. And I've got to applaud your restarts in general. You know, you mentioned there that it didn't go quite to plan on that particular one, but each time is that he thought that he was going to try something different on you every time. When you had the measure of him, it looked like.
Yeah, when Alex has been racing in the NASCAR Euro Series for a good few years, so. He certainly. I needed to be on top of my game, and it was nice to be battling at the front because, as I say, normally in these races I've either been taken out or I've lost my connection through a thunderstorm. It's just been an endless catalogue of stuff. It's been a great night. We'll get the little girl to bed and look forward to snetting next weekend.
What do you do? What do you do in the real world? Because I do recognise your name, but I can't remember why.
We race in the Toyota MR2 Championship in the 750 Motor Club.
Ah. Yes. I have. I knew I recognised the name, but when I'm commentating every weekend, I lose track. But yes, I can understand why you're looking forward to getting it back underway. I was with your main commentator last weekend at Coombe, Ian Salmon, so he'll be looking forward to getting you guys back underway again. So good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks. It was a bit of we were rumming and ahhing whether to do a full shortened season, but you know what, we've been locked down for so long. You only live once, so yeah, we were runner up last year. We'll give it a go for the championship, and along with my teammate Aaron Cook, who's also done a few races here. So yeah, you've got two MR2 racers doing ovals who try and go left and right as well.
Love it.
Well, good luck with that, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks a lot.
I echo that as well. But great to speak to you, Alistair. Well done this season, and we'll hopefully see you in season 3.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
And next up, then, another absolute character to bring in the box here is Mr. Crowles. Brian Crowles brings in a hell of a lot of fun to the championship, don't you, mate? It looked like a bit of a wild ride out there tonight.
Yeah, I've never really been that comfortable around this track. The first time was, I guess, just beginner's luck, since this was kind of the first series I entered. I mean, the race was fun tonight. It was fun battling and doing all that sort of stuff, but of course I hoped I would have been up the front more into the race.
Well, there was a few incidents around you, and of course involved in one of them as well, but talk me through the moment when you were in the wall. Did you think you could bring it back to get a result like you did from there?
I knew going around the lap cars is always tricky, especially on an oval. I don't know what happened. He sent me a message apologizing, so I guess the ball was in his court for the fault there, which I appreciate because there's not much people that actually apologize after doing something like that.
Yeah.
But no, I just had my sins of keeping Connor behind and Hesno because they were my closest competitors in the championship, and Connor was really close. So I was just trying to hang on and get back up there so I could hopefully be right behind them or in front of him even.
Well, it certainly looked like you were working hard for it. One question that's burning in my mind that I mentioned during the stream: if we see you in season 3, are you going to be running in the Stars and Stripes with the Bald Eagle again?
I mean, it's going to be hard to top this one, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Chris and I love it, don't we, mate?
Yeah, definitely, hugely. It just looks so good.
It is very, very strong, I think is the word for it, Ryan. But as is your character in this championship, you know, everyone knows your name, everyone knows your face, because you do light it up for everyone. It's great. But yeah, season 3 though. What are your hopes for that? I mean, you came close to the championship both times now. Do you think it's finally time you get the win?
I mean, I hope so. I was keen on getting by Connor this year because we were all on pace with each other last year. So I was hoping I could get by him, and then Smith came from nowhere with a bunch of pace. Congrats to him again for winning the championship. That was a mega drive he's done this season. Hats off to him. But we'll just come back and try it again, I guess.
Well, as long as you enjoy it, mate, it certainly seems like you have been doing, and it's been great to watch. We do need to hurry things along, though, I'm afraid, buddy. But before we let you go, do you want to give a shout-out to anybody?
Yep. I want to give a shout-out to Brax Racing for letting me run them on their car. Same with EVP. To Alex and you guys for putting on an amazing season. Well, 2 seasons by now. I'm looking forward to racing these things again, whatever it is. And all the fans out there, still out there every weekend for everything I do. Can't do it without them. So,
smashing. Love it, Brian. Well, great to speak to you as always, mate, and I'm sure we'll speak again in the upcoming seasons.
Yes, sir. See ya.
Cheers. And well, there's another interview. We've got 2 more. 2 more, I promise you, is all we're going to try and squeeze in here. But of course, a podium today and race sponsor as well. Great supporter of the championship, Mikey Doble, joins us in the box. Mikey, I bet you're absolutely over the moon with that, mate. A podium round here is brilliant.
Oh yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. It was probably the best race I've ever had on iRacing. It was probably the most strategic race we've had so far in the series. I didn't have the short run pace. Like, if the run went over sort of 10-15 laps, I fancied my chances to catch up the leaders and make a move for the lead. So when we was having those short restarts at the end, I was kind of a bit gutted about that, but really pleased with 3rd place.
Well, coming into this as well, I mean, Alex was saying earlier that every race you sponsor, you seem to go well at. Do you think there's a theme there?
Well, don't say that. I might have to sponsor all of them, but I don't think that's going to happen. We'll be bankrupt.
Well, it was, I mean, Chris and I were both saying during the race, and I mean, during the season that, I mean, you'll probably admit as well, you came into it not the most confident. There was a couple of rounds where you're a bit of a backmarker almost, but around here you were completely on it. And I mean, at Montreal and Daytona as well, we saw that. What is it that's changed mainly, do you reckon?
Well, I didn't really have any expectations coming into this series. I've only been a sim racer since beginning of June, end of May, or pretty much when this started. So Indianapolis was my first oval race on the game. So I was kind of just trying to keep it off the wall and not hit anyone that race, and was pleased to finish 15th. But then I sort of realised pretty quickly at the Roval that I was somewhat competitive on the circuits, and then just sort of working on my oval program a bit. And I think here I just seemed to have had a good line, had a good rhythm, and a sort of a technique that allowed me to prolong the tyre length a little bit, which I think in the middle of the race I sort of came from about 5 seconds back and took the lead at one point. And just getting used to the sim, really, just learning little tricks, watching other people on board and picking things up. I learned how to change gear in a stock car properly without using the clutch. That gave me about a second a lap.
Nice. Well, it's like you say, the little quirks and things like that. I mean, Chris and I mean, you'll agree, won't you, mate? It was epic to watch you gain that time, like you say, in that middle run. He just came from nowhere, didn't he, Chris?
It was just brilliant to watch. And even when we saw you sort of, I think, what you saying, it's probably only as low as 4th that we saw you, but I was then going, watch out, that blue and white 22 car is going to come through again. And sure enough, you were always there or thereabouts. I think the only scary moment is go the other side of what we talked about earlier, is that when Alistair Topley, the only mistake he made all race is he came down and the 2 of you came together, and we don't know how the hell you held on to that at the bottom of the line.
I'm glad you're saying it's his fault. No, but I mean, I got a cracking restart there. I mean, probably the best restart I've had all year in this season. And I just timed it well. I was trying to look for when Alex was going to go and then just keep it pinned, and I was pushing him down the straight. And then Ali, I don't know if he thought I was a ghost car or something, but he sort of came down on me, and Yeah, I nearly lost control. I'm looking forward to watching the replay of that. I haven't seen it, but then after that, there was I felt like I had some damage to my car. The car changed the way it drove, and then Connor got around me. And then it took a couple of laps to kind of get used to the way it was driving again. So it was still good enough to allow me to be competitive, but it changed the way it drove for sure.
Well, it certainly looked like you got the hang of it in the end, mate. Brilliant pace all night and a fantastic podium to round out the season. Just before we let you go, though, Mikey, is there anyone you want to give a shout-out to, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, Alex and his team for putting on such a great event. I mean, I didn't believe how much fun this was going to be and how real it feels with the drivers' briefings and the commentary and all of that. You know, it's this next best thing from real racing, to be honest, and to race against some bigger names in motorsport than me. Well, I'm not big, but but to race against some people that I'm normally sitting on the sidelines watching on the banks is really something. And of course, you guys for hosting the coverage. It's very professionally done, and I've had a lot of compliments on your behalf saying how much they enjoy it. And yeah, just hopefully there's a season 3 and we can get back into it again.
Well, fingers crossed, mate. Thank you as well, by the way. Great to hear that people are enjoying the commentary. And to be honest, mate, it's been a pleasure to have you, and hopefully, like you say, we will see you in season 3, and I hope it goes well for you. But all the best until then.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers. And, well...
That was a lovely comment, wasn't it? I felt bad that I was in the throes of pouring myself yet another alcoholic beverage while that was being said, though. But I think that probably sums me up at the minute during this lockdown, to be fair. So
I don't blame you. But yeah, it's always good. I mean, I'll definitely echo that as a commentator. I mean, yeah, we like to put on a show like this for people and make sure the stream looks good and call the shots as we see it and make a good story out of it. It's great to hear that that's appreciated as well.
Especially as, let me sum up, I've always said this, in terms of us commentators, our job is to read the story that's being written for us by the drivers in the action. And when the writing is as good as this, it makes our job easier, and we just get to sit back and enjoy and regurgitate the details and get excited about it. So, hats off to these drivers. Yes, Alex and the whole team and everyone at Vertex has just put on a great show, but these drivers have been epic.
They really, really have. And, well, the most epic of all of them finally joins us in the box. He's been waiting very patiently, so thank you very much for that. But your Season 2 champion, it's there, I've said it. Aaron Smith joins us in the box. Aaron, how are you feeling right now, mate?
I'm tired, but we had a pretty good race. It was it started out pretty miserable because I thought I had a solution to my problem with the brake pedal, but it turns out I was wrong, and it was still dragging in the down the straightaways. But I got everything together and figured out how I wanted to drive the car. We made something of it. We were able to get a top 5 out of it.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I mean, me and Chris did want to ask because it just didn't seem like the car was there with the pace or behaving itself all race. And, we saw a couple of times you'd been in the pits like once or twice during a caution. Was it down to just that brake pedal issue then? That was the reason why you came in?
Well, not only that, but I wanted to try some things out with the tires. At Iowa, we had the 2-tire thing where we could go faster just taking right sides. I tried to do that tonight as well, but it didn't really work out. I had all in the corners, waste my right front up. But yeah, after I figured out what I wanted to do, we were able to get a little bit faster and pick up the pieces.
Well, what were your nerves like as well at the midpoint of the race? Because you were always sort of flirting outside of the top 5, sometimes even just on the outer fringes of the top 10. And seeing your championship rivals a few places ahead and seeing Alex at the front, were you nervous that it might slip away, or did you think you had it all under control?
From the beginning, I knew I had a pretty good grasp on the championship. I mean, Connor and Brian are really good drivers, but I had such a good season in the races prior that I didn't. The gap was a little bit too big to really worry about. But, yeah.
Well, it was certainly entertaining. Go on, Chris. Sorry, mate.
I was going to say, Aaron, is that it looked to me, though, that what I loved was that because where you clearly worked that one out, and we've been building up all along, is that you'd said you're not just satisfied with the championship win. You wanted to do it even with Alex Sedgwick's pro points in there as well, which is such a good sign of you. And it looked like, even though you could have, towards the tail end of that race, kind of gone, all right, let's stop being silly, let's just settle for it, you didn't give up even till the last lap, did you?
Well, I mean, at first I didn't plan on racing anybody in that last restart, but then I saw that Brian was the only car between me and the top 5. I decided I might as well just go for it.
There was one point in the middle, apologies if you did say this, but I've been sort of like looking at all the maths on everything as well, is that it looked like your car just literally fell off the cliff, and I think it was when you then went in the pits under a green just before a caution, is that you literally had no choice. It had fallen completely off the cliff, hadn't it?
Yeah, I pushed way too hard in the beginning of that run. I thought I'd be able to not use the brakes and ride the outside, get a good run on them, but wasted that right front, like I said earlier, and it was dropped about 70% when I went to do the pit stop. But yeah, fortunately that caution came out. I would have been stuck a lap down or so if not.
Did you? I mean, we got excited, and as it turned out, sort of superficially, is that they're going, is this going to work? Is this going to work? Now the caution's out, they're all diving into the pitch. You've already been in, but it didn't actually work out. But you know, where were you in your head? Did you already suss that? No, I'm going to be up there or thereabouts, but I'm not going to be able to capitalise as much as I'd have liked to have.
Yeah, for some reason after that caution, I took 2 tires, like I did at Iowa, and I was slow for the next run, but. After that, we had the caution come out, and I was able to take 4 and at least be a little bit competitive. But yeah, it was a little bit worrying towards the end. But with how I am in points prior to the race, I wasn't too poor off.
We loved it, mate. We were watching it, and I was quite impressed that I was able to even do quick maths. You've given me a headache tonight, Aaron, because I kept working it out with all the additional points for the bits and pieces, just to sort of keep it alive. Is that you kept it enough there that went, well, actually, if he goes and does this, maybe, and if Alex gets trumped by those, and that's what we want, isn't it? We want it to still be sort of coming down to the last race, and there's so much still to play for.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every restart, I was wondering if something was going to happen to Alex, and I'd get a little bit of a leg up on him, but that never came. And Topley ran a really good race and put up a pretty good fight. He just wasn't able to close the deal. But yeah, I was pretty hopeful, but it didn't completely work out.
Well, it's been an amazing season for you, Aaron. Very, very deserving champion, I must say, and it's been so enjoyable watching you. I mean, performances like we saw at Zolder as well just really highlighted the grasp that you had on this, and it's been incredible. We do have to round things out, though, I'm afraid. So before we let you go, is there anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to on the stream before we round it out?
Of course, I'd like to thank everyone at Revolution Satellite Racing for putting the car together, everyone at Vertex for putting this series together, and all putting together such a great schedule. You never see this kind of diversity on other oval series, and it's great to run more than one road course every season. So yeah, I'd like to thank y'all as well for broadcasting and sticking with us for the whole race, because that was a long one. It was a proper endurance race, but it's always fun to look back on these and watch them and see what happens.
Cracking. Well, very well done, mate. I'll let you go and enjoy the moment. And, well, everybody, your Season 2 champion, Aaron Smith. Thanks for talking to us, buddy.
Alrighty, thank you.
Again, a lovely character, and there's so many of them in this series, aren't there, Chris? And I must say, the whole y'all for broadcasting, I love that. I absolutely love that. It's great, isn't it?
It's almost like we probably should have done mic drop. That should have been the last words, y'all for commentating. Absolutely. Yes. I mean, it's just been epic. I mean, Aaron Smith, in fairness, earlier this year, is that he's been in an absolute league of his own for a massive chunk of these races. I mean, you look through at the history. I've been sad enough. I've got them all printed out for me here. Is that he didn't have a good Daytona, did he? He didn't start off brilliantly. Kansas, he was 5th. Indianapolis, he was 8th. Then suddenly he came alive, 2nd in Charlotte Roval, which of course was the doubleheader with Indy and then the infield of the Charlotte Speedway that was actually on the Roval. An amazing victory at Zolder, 2nd in Iowa. It didn't go to plan for him at Daytona, as I say, and I've lost the piece of paper that had even more information. That suddenly we saw him doing some amazing things. Watkins Glen, he was brilliant. He did what he needed to do, and when he shone ridiculously bright.
He did, and especially in that yellow livery as well that we've come to love this season. But I tell you what, the main thing that I took from it this season is that, I mean, we were saying when we first worked together as well at Eldora, when we did the truck challenge, we noticed Aaron's pace there and how good he was at that. And then he's just shown that the incredible sort of diversity, as he called it as well, from track to track, He was good on ovals, he was good on road circuits, he was good on a dirt oval as well in a truck, for God's sake. He's shown such a great talent.
I think his massive talent has been on the roads. When you look at his victory at Gilles Villeneuve circuit in Canada as well, he was just incredible at that one. And as I say, at Zolder was the first one that we went, wow, that's incredible. Certainly he seems to be even better than everybody else on the road courses. But you're right, he's always been up there at the pointy end on the ovals as well. And it was the dirt oval that he first came to our mind and went, hold up, that's pretty tidy. You sort of jokingly said it was when he changed his livery, but it was easy to make that joke because he'd come absolutely alive.
He did indeed. He certainly did. Well, just as a bit of reflection then, mate, I mean, a brief one from me. It's been an incredible season. It's been great to have you join me in the box. I think we've formed a great partnership, and to be honest, it's been a hell of a lot of fun, and I know that everyone that's been watching the stream has been appreciating it. The feedback as well, thank you everybody, has been awesome from the streams, and I'm very, very pleased that we managed to get the technical issues of a few weeks ago turned around. What have you made, and what's your favourite moment from this season, do you reckon, mate?
Oh, geez, I can't pick that out, mate. Honestly, it's just been mind-blowing, the whole thing. I mean, this one today probably was the highlight, I guess, to a large extent, because the excitement was building up in me. I mean, it was amazing to hear Alex talking about the heart rate, wasn't it? Because we had talked about that. I'd have loved to have known it, because I was getting really on the edge of my seat. It's been epic. And let's not forget that, yes, that's season 2 over, but we've got 2 amazing special races next weekend. On the Wednesday, we've got sort of in effect going for the 1987 Darlington 250. So we're in those classic cars, and the 1987 Firecracker 200 on Friday. So, Vertex, they just know what they're doing. They just keep delivering this stuff. And as I've said, is that, yes, we've obviously got to wear the corporate hat and be banging a drum about Vertex as Alex would expect us to, but equally he would also expect us to be sort of saying this, is that, as I said a moment ago, these drivers have delivered. The entertainment they've dished up has been epic.
It really has, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun to call it, as I've used that phrase about 3 times within about 2 minutes. But thank you everybody for watching this season. It's been amazing, and as Chris says, we will be covering 2 of the classic NASCAR races for you next week, Wednesday and Friday, and it's going to be a right joy to see those machines in all of their glory, even in the sim racing world, going at it and doing battle. We actually, between the 2 of us, have a very exciting venture coming up where Chris, the lead commentator at Snetterton over the weekend for an MSVR meeting, in real life this is, I'll be joining him in the box there as well for my first time commentating at Snetterton. So we have a hell of a lot to look forward to, and so do you as well. Let me tell you, everybody, you're going to really love next week's events that are lined up. But as for now, this has been Vertex Stock Car Cup Season 2. I've been Chaz Draycott with the fantastic Chris Dawes, who I'm very grateful to have worked with, joining me in the box this season. I hope you all have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you next week.